Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. I'm Santi, that's Sancho. When are we going to get bought and be exclusively available in Saudi Arabia, Sancho? When are we going to get that bag? When are we going to move exclusively to Las Vegas? Where are the sponsors of Wrestling is Cool? I am ready to sell out my soul, to sell out my body to the highest bidder. What's going on, man?
Of course you are. That's why I'm the people's champion. That's why I'm not on the thumbnail. You think I want to be on your little 400K subscriber YouTube channel thumbnail? I don't need to be on that thumbnail. You know why? Because I've been on red carpets, sir. All right. I've been in luxury boxes, sir. I am down in the comment section, sir.
Wait, is your way
selling?
Is your way to say you're a man of the people is I've been hanging out with famous people in box suites? That's a terrible argument.
That is who I am, and I'm never selling out, brother.
Sancho, I would sell the Wrestling is Cool podcast, and I would sell you for a bag of chips. All right, that's where I'm at this point.
You're gonna Michelle McCool me? You're gonna boot me out?
Dude, next week we're gonna have Michelle McCool, and we're just gonna keep the name Sancho on there. She's even gonna steal your name.
Wow. It's a wild time, man. It's a wild time, but we are, but I'll take a sponsorship.
That'd be nice. Somebody,
a dude wipes.
Anybody, bro.
Anybody, bro.
Dude, how is a VPN not sponsoring us? What's going on here? Everyone's got a VPN sponsorship except for the Wrestling is Cool podcast. Maybe it's because we're just the coolest wrestling podcast on the planet. Right. But here's the thing. We don't need sponsors at the end of the day because we are sponsored by the wonderful people over on patreon.com/SantiZeb, where you can get the podcast 3 days earlier than everywhere else on the planet. Not only that, but you'd also get the Raw reviews, the SmackDown reviews, all that use real footage so that you can see exactly what it is that we're talking about, plus additional series that are currently ongoing, like the John Cena Wins and Losses Ranked Championship series, the Ryback in review, an already completed series like Sancho watching every single Royal Rumble match, and the already completed series of me watching and ranking every single Undertaker Wrestlemania match under the sun. I'm pretty confident that there is over 1,000 hours already up and available, to the point where we've had to ask Patreon for more video storage like 3 times. Please, Patreon, can we have some more, please? And because they love our community, they always oblige and they always give us more time there. But go check it out. I'm confident that if you try it out, even for just 1 month at the $5 tier where you get all of the content, you will fall in love with it. If you're feeling extra generous, you can be a $15 patron and join us for monthly movie night. Our last one was The Longest Yard. That was a fun time. We've watched things like some crappy Miz movie. We've watched The Rundown. We've watched Nacho Libre as a community. So consider it, is all.
Maybe this month of September, we should watch The Tooth Fairy or The Game Plan.
Ooh, The Game Plan.
Oh, we saw the show for The Chaperone.
Oh, that's right. We saw The Chaperone as well, Triple H's movie. I'd be down to watch Blade Trinity because Triple H is in that. And
yeah,
it's not the best Blade movie, but at least it'd be different. Oh, we watched Doom too, dude.
Doom's good.
I think Doom's been my favorite movie to do the watch along for.
It got very bad reviews, but I think it was ahead of its time. It's a movie ahead of its time, dude. It's really good.
It's held up surprisingly well. Like even the special effects in it, I'm like, because normally when you go back and watch a sci-fi movie from the 2000s, the special effects and the graphics, they were in this like weird like period
they
where
love CGI.
They love to overdo CGI and it looks so bad. But the CGI in Doom was pretty solid and I think it has held up. I'm telling you, The Rock hates Doom. He talked about it in the Hall of Fame speech that he did, but it's a great movie. I think Doom is great.
Yeah, he just wants to hate on it because it's cool to hate on it. You know what I mean?
Sancho.
But I think it's even cooler, dare I say, punk rock to love it.
Oh, I like that. What would be a wrestling related movie that you want to make sure that we watch before the end of the year, and why? Like, what's one that's been in the back of your mind that you think that we absolutely must watch? I know that there's good movies out there, like we could watch Iron Claw, but I don't feel like that's the vibe for our community. We will eventually have to watch it, but that's such a depressing movie. And when I say wrestling movie, of course, I mean like it's got a wrestler in it. What should we be watching?
I mean, we already watched Ready to Rumble.
We did
That
watch
was the
Ready to
first one.
Rumble. Yeah,
That was the first one, man. Brother. I mean, we could watch Waterboy. Waterboy has Captain Insano,
that's true. That's true. We could watch
Big Show.
is it Rocky that's got Thunder Lips, Hogan?
Yeah, Rocky 3.
Yeah, we could watch that. There is an infinite amount of movies.
I know. We should have a viewing party of Thunder in Paradise. Yes. A great
The
show
show,
where
Hogan's show.
where he plays like a special ops and he has a special boat.
Mm, what are your thoughts right now on The Rock going on this so I took it personally route of everyone saying that Cena and Batista were the better wrestlers turned actors, and now he's going down this path of you know what he's doing? He's Oscar baiting. He's looking for Oscars right now, and he might be in play for one here with Smashing Machine, which comes out in like 3 weeks,
October.
2 weeks or something like that. Not sponsored, by the way. That totally sounds like a sponsored thing.
Wow, The Rock sure does put out the best performance of his life.
Available in theaters across the nation. Again, not sponsored. It's a joke.
Not sponsored. One day, who knows? The Rock definitely took it personal, no doubt. Wanted to show out, but I feel what I'm excited for is anytime somebody faces its demons and they get vulnerable, which The Rock has said in many of his kind of interviews leading up to this. I'm very intrigued because you have to know The Rock's probably had a lot of demons knock out his front door when he approached this subject, considering it's kind of close to home. Can't wait, dude. Emily Blunt's in it. She's a great actress. They got great chemistry between the two. You ever seen the movie The Fighter with Christian Bale and Amy Adams?
Yes. Yeah, I have. It's good.
I think it's called The Fighter. I gotta look that up. But yeah, that is the kind of vibe I'm getting from this movie. It's going to be very, very sad and depressing. Yeah, it is The Fighter. I cannot wait to see it. But movies, I feel with wrestling, it's like a stratosphere that they've always wanted to cross into. You know what? The Marine. We gotta watch John Cena's foray in the Marine. We have to watch John. We need more John Cena in our Match Club watch party movie viewings and things of that sort.
I agree. I will never turn down some John Cena in my life. Yeah, I'm down to see what The Rock is capable of doing, because clearly he's a good actor that has just sort of shackled himself to the big box office, I'm the big muscular guy, explosions everywhere role. But clearly, he's good enough to be this big marquee player in Hollywood. There has to be talent there that's untapped. And I'm interested in seeing, now that The Rock is covered head to toe in money and has already accomplished what you can accomplish in Hollywood, I'd like to now see him take on these more complex roles and seeing what he's actually capable of. Because, dude, I cannot differentiate to you The Rock from San Andreas, from Rampage, from Jungle Cruise, from Hobbs. Like, he's the same character in the last 10 years of his filming career. You can find some interesting gems, like when he played the gay bodyguard in Be Cool, where he's like, wow, you're seeing his range, being a totally like different person, like being shown to you on screen. I'm interested in seeing what he's now going to be able to do with a bit more range and a bit more runway with his acting.
Well, that's the thing. It's Rock's interesting career, right? He went to as a Scorpion King, right? And they were like, hey, you need to slim down. You're too big. He decided to slim down, and then he became something different, did the game plan, the Tooth Fairy, and all those kinds of things. And then he realized, hey, I want to be myself. And he started to bulk back up for Pain, Gain, and things of those movies. And he was like, this is who I am. I don't want Hollywood to put me in the box. But then he put himself in a box with the blockbuster things like you talked about. And then he tried to be a wrestler in acting. He tried to bring pro wrestling business into Hollywood, and Hollywood did not like that. He tried to strong arm Hollywood to be the Black Adam, to control DC Studios, to kind of control the narrative, to control the booking, his gimmick. I can't lose in fights type of vibe, right? He tried to do all that.
He literally did the "it's not going to work for me, brother" meme in Hollywood.
He literally did not want to be Shazam's like first fight and didn't make any sense because Black Adam, Shazam are 1-1, but he wanted Superman. Like, that's a wrestling mentality. That's a wrestler's mentality in Hollywood. And Hollywood chewed him up and they spit him out, right? Blockbuster failure, things of that sort. So now The Rock's like, dog, I'm still getting buried to this day for the hierarchy of power changes. What am I going to do? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go after an Oscar. I'm going to go after an Oscar so they can't say anything that I don't belong here type of vibe. It's the ultimate power play to be an Oscar award-winning actor. And of hearing all the reviews and thoughts of it, he is definitely up for grabs to be that person when it comes to award season. I'm very, very excited for The Rock because it looks really good. It really does look really good.
I'm pumped for it. All right, let's because that wasn't even in our show notes.
Question.
Yes.
Question though. Does that mean that The Rock, who slimmed down to probably the lowest weight he's been,
still bigger than most of humanity,
right? Bigger than me, 100%, slimmed down, right? Getting himself all Hollywood out. Does this mean that with the newest things that are just happening around WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, that The Rock picks up the phone and we get Rock and Roman with the right amount of money on the line?
Well,
who knows, brother?
That brings us to our main topic of the show. WrestleMania 43 has been confirmed to be in Saudi Arabia, and it's got a lot of people up in arms. A lot of people are upset about this, Sancho, and it's not just me saying that. It's Twitter saying that. Sports Illustrated is saying that.
I knew you were going to say that. I was waiting.
I want to get your initial thoughts here, right? Because I've got some thoughts about the Saudi Arabian deal, and I've got some interesting numbers to share with you. Actually, you know what? I think sharing these numbers might grease the wheels on a conversation here.
Grease me.
There are numbers being thrown around that Saudi Arabia may have paid north of $100 million for WrestleMania and like the whole weekend gamut, WrestleMania, whatever conventions that they might end up doing. Because I can't, was it Access, WrestleMania Access or something like that?
Fanatics, yeah.
Yeah, it could be that. Friday Night SmackDown, the Hall of Fame, maybe NXT Stand and Deliver, Monday Night Raw. $100 million for that whole weekend. I want you to listen to the difference in numbers here for a quick second. $100 million. WrestleMania in Las Vegas paid 12. $12 million to secure WrestleMania 42. And that, my friend, was apparently enough to take it away from a city that had already won the bid of New Orleans. So what I'm trying to get at here is that we may have power scaled and power creeped to the point that we no longer as fans are priced out, but cities and countries are now priced out from the WWE moving forward with these events. Because who in the world is going to outbid Saudi Arabia? People are saying Las Vegas. I just gave you the difference in terms of their bids. It is astronomically different. If Saudi Arabia wants WrestleMania every year, they're going to get WrestleMania every year. It's just as simple as that. WWE clearly is not in a position, or TKO, I should say, where they want to say, oh, well, we want to keep our presence in North America, so that's worth more to us than this big bag. Clearly not. Clearly, they are chasing the biggest bid. They showed it with WrestleMania 42 as they were willing to go back on their original agreement with New Orleans and go back to Las Vegas. And they're showing it here because I'm sure major cities around North America bid for WrestleMania, but none of them, I guarantee you, even came close to what's being offered here for WrestleMania. Here's another interesting number from the Saudi Arabian deals. And this was shared to me by my co-host of the Raw Post Show, Denise. The amount of money that WrestleMania has made since its inception, from WrestleMania 1 to WrestleMania 42, is about $450 million. That's how much it's grossed the WWE. The Saudi Arabian deal so far, the 10-year deal, has netted the WWE $600 million. So in just that short amount of time, The amount of money that WWE has made from the Saudi Arabian deal already is starting to dwarf the amount of money that all of the WrestleManias have made for the WWE. And there are still 3 years left in the Saudi deal. The reason I'm sharing this is because I want to show everyone the not even gap, the colossal chasm in difference between what Saudi Arabia can offer the WWE and TKO versus any other entity, versus any other city besides any other government entity. It's not close, dude. It's not close. So what I'm trying to get at here is that there is a really strong possibility that WWE just keeps WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia because the numbers make sense for them. It is there. It's clear as day. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they at this point? Toss that over to you. Let's hear some thoughts from Sancho.
I do feel that this is a very complicated kind of topic because you could crack at it in different ways. You covered the money thing. I think where I want to approach it on is history repeats itself type of vibe. You really think about it back in the day when Vince McMahon was out there gobbling up territories. Essentially, wrestling was a very small local territorial thing. You had promotions for each region in the United States. You had Southern Wrestling, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, you had up in the Connecticut, you had all those kinds of things. But what started to happen? An entity came around and started gobbling up all these territories, taking superstars and things of that sort. It went from a local, small, family based, community based type of product to a national level. And I'm sure people at that time, Santi, were the same boat that we are in right now. Like, oh my God, they're gonna take our favorite wrestlers. This Kentucky wrestling is not the same. It's going to New York. New York is taking everything. No longer the big show is happening in Kentucky. The big show is happening in Madison Square Garden. Do you know we can't afford to drive to New York? We can't afford to travel to New York. The family cannot go to see a show in the Madison Square Garden. You know how much it is to get to New York, how much to pay for a hotel in New York? All these conversations were happening on a small level back in the day in the 80s or in the 80s. But now these conversations are happening again. They're going from a national product, a small territory in terms of the world, to a global product around the world. And things are going to change. Your that feeling of homegrown talent, that feeling of Americana is changing. The WWE for me back in the 80s and 90s have always felt like a Americana product. It oozed American pop culture from Cyndi Lauper, Mr. T, in the earlier days. That what WrestleMania was all about, dude. It was like a big melting pot of all these pop references and culture, and it was all in the ring circle. That's what Vince McMahon wanted, right? WrestleMania. He wanted to mix the Hollywood glam and celebrity with its product of pro wrestling. But back to my point a little bit ago. This is where we are, man. We are losing that feeling of a homegrown talent and things of that sort. And this is not to say Saudi Arabia, the fans over there are not wrestling fans. They deserve big PLEs. They definitely have made progress from year one of their first ever PLE to now. Even the creative have gotten better from the super showdowns that were just meaningless wrestling showcases to are not being canon events. They're being more meaningful storylines and things of that sort. So the creative is getting better and things of that sort. I feel what people are upset about is the same type of vibes that people were being upset about in the 80s when their territories were disappearing and everything was going to the big WWE, WWF things, type of vibes. That is what we're losing. We're losing this ability to say, like, hey, Sancho Jr., I'm going to take you to WrestleMania. Now it's a trek across the world. And I know there's going to be like people on there like, what about if their first announcement was London, the first thing in Italy? You could tell that the WWE gave the entire world opportunities to do that. Hell, even John Cena was lobbying for London. You could, every time he had a chance, he would always cater. Oh, I would love to have a Mania in London. Oh, I would love to wrestle in London. Even that point, London didn't want to or could not compete with the city of Saudi Arabia. And for me, as a wrestling fan who's grown up in the 80s and 90s of wrestling and now entering this new global era, it leaves me feeling that my participation and my care and love for the product doesn't matter as much as a dollar sign. It's a very capitalistic company now, but it's to say that every sport in America is capitalistic now. If you look at every sport in America, even basketball, football, boxing especially, is now trying to gain as much like capitalistic gains as much as possible. And the one that is out there paying it out is Saudi Arabia.
It's true. It's true. And we see it even with sports that are strictly American. Like, for example, the NFL, they're trying so hard to get more of a global footprint because, from an economic standpoint, so many countries around the world are starting to catch up to the United States when it comes to consumer viewing and what monies can be earned outside of the American market. Because before it was the American market, that's the cream of the crop. That's where you want to be. And that is still the case today. That's still where you make the bulk of your money as an organization. But now all of these other economies have started to flourish since the 80s, that now it is worth to go down to a Brazil to have an NFL game. It is worth to be in Mexico, to be in Germany for a football game. It is worth to have your fingers in the pot in as many different countries and economies and cultures as you possibly can, so that you aren't just shoehorned to becoming an American product. And it seems to me that a lot of people seem to be surprised at this idea that WWE is global. It is. There are more non-American fans of the WWE than there are American fans. Like that's just how it works, right? When you combine the rest of the world, there are more people that watch WWE outside of the WWE. So why wouldn't WWE want to have that global footprint? We've seen them have more of a global footprint here in the 2020s with these international PLEs. I think people are just mad that it's specifically Saudi Arabia. I think that there's always been this sour point with Saudi Arabia. And to people that are saying that, okay, I get where you're coming from, but have you been in a cryogenic chamber since 2018? This isn't new. WWE has had this partnership, this deal with Saudi Arabia for like damn near a decade at this point. This is just an expansion on that deal. That deal was clearly never going to disappear because the shows just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and better and better and better. And the crowds kept getting better and better and becoming more of a hardcore crowd. So trying to expand into Saudi Arabia from a financial standpoint, obviously major dividends for WWE, but from a social standpoint, it worked. They turned Saudi Arabians into hardcore mega fans of the product. So what I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to talk about some of the positives here, because I think anyone and everyone has already talked about the negatives. I don't think that you need to hear us talk about it again. Everybody already has.
Positive. Some.
Sorry?
I still have some.
Sure. Positive number one is now WrestleMania is accessible to the right side of the world, right? From the hemisphere, I want to clarify, not political. The Europe is much closer. The Middle East is closer. India, oh my God, the amount of Indian wrestling fans are just a quick flight away from WrestleMania now. What a wonderful treat for them. And I think it's so unfair that Americans specifically, and I can say this as a Canadian, they feel so insulted by the fact that they've lost WrestleMania, that it's out of North America. But I will say many of those would have been much more happy if it was like in London or Italy or whatever. Many of them are mad that it's specifically Saudi Arabia. But I wanna give a shout to the Saudi Arabian fans, European fans, Indian fans that are gonna have a much closer WrestleMania to be able to fly to. That's such a great positive for them. Positive number two, I kind of like the idea of an afternoon WrestleMania for me here in North America. Positive number three, ticket prices in Saudi shows have been significantly cheaper, like by magnitudes of like 10, by the way. Will that be the case for WrestleMania? I highly doubt it, but I want to throw that out there. I know from experience from some of our viewers saying that they paid for a VIP package for the equivalent of $500. VIP package for a PLE here is like $20,000. Obviously, you'll have to pay for the ticket to get there and whatnot. So there are positives to bring out of this, that I'm trying to find positives in a situation where like there's no negotiating here. This is what WWE is going to do. So if this is what's going to happen, how do we make the best out of this as WWE fans? We got to start finding the good in this capitalistic decision of WWE chasing the bag, because they're always going to chase the bag. I don't know why this is new to people. This is not new. WWE, TKO specifically now, will be chasing the bag. It is why they are charging $40,000 for front row seats for SummerSlams.
Yeah, and that's why they're adding their logos for different companies everywhere. It's all over the place. One thing I do want to bring up though, as you mentioned positives and negatives and things like that. I had a positive, but I'm still holding on to the negative. In terms of a downturn, is WrestleMania was the mecca for a lot of different things and a lot of wrestling promotions. All the indies that would have their own conventions and own matches and their own shows around the WrestleMania
Yeah.
city. That's going to suffer a lot. We lose a lot of that community because Mania was one of those things where mega fans, ultra fans would go and enjoy wrestling. It would then trickle down to everybody else around there.
Mega fans would travel and not be able to afford WrestleMania, but still go to the auxiliary things that were happening, because there would be a handful of indie events, WrestleCon, which is free to go into usually, meet and greets. That there was still stuff to do for wrestling fans aside from going to WrestleMania. I totally get where you're coming from here.
And it's not necessarily about the fans willing to travel. I mean, maybe there is American fans who's willing to travel. If you could afford to go to SummerSlam front row, you could afford a plane ticket to Saudi Arabia to go attend there. But when it comes down to that community, the wrestling community, the pro wrestling indie community, I think it suffers the most for this, because it was probably their biggest money draws of the year. They can no longer rely on that annually. They rely on those tourists and all those other people to come into town to things of that sort. The biggest thing as well is like this does leave a hole for AEW to come in. If AEW wants to take the positive PR to spin the negative PR, they could step in and have their own event and literally call it the Great American Bash if they want to. I know that's not legally allowed, but kind of be the champion of that. Have a forbidden door where it feels more international than a WrestleMania type of vibe. And they could kind of be the new thing and slot in, because as always, Santi, in our business, one content creator does something different, shifts over, another one comes in and takes its spot. And if AEW could be the one that takes its spot, I think that will kind of soften the blow for the indie scene. But one thing I wanted to point out for it is that you mentioned United States tourism is down. All right. The WWE could be looking at those numbers as well, that people don't want to come into the United States as much as they used to. Las Vegas numbers in tourism is down right now.
Hey,
There's
as a
not a lot of
Canadian,
tourists.
I feel less welcomed into the United States than I did before. It's
So
just how it is.
there's a lot of that going around in terms of people feeling that America is a place where you don't want to travel from if you're coming from out of the country. So if you're WWE, you're going to wonder like, hey, maybe that's something we can think about. One thing as well I want to think about before I toss it back to you is if you've already exhausted all of the cities around weekly television, right? You're traveling, you're charging so much for SmackDown, Raw, now the PLEs, right? Who do you think is going to be able to where else were you going to mess with, right? Where is you going to farm? You're going to go to another place that you haven't been. So that's why they're going to these European trips, and they're kind of could get away with charging more because it's a whole new revenue stream to dig into, to mine into. These things I'm saying definitely do suck, right? It definitely does suck, because what they're doing is, instead of having, like you mentioned, cities bid for these things, now it's the world bidding, and the price is just going to go up for everything. My lasting thing is I'm just hoping that the wrestlers benefit in some sort of way. You know, the salaries go up, they're treated better, they don't have to worry about travel expenses, they don't have to worry about hotel expenses for everybody on the roster type of vibe. Hell, if everyone could get a tour bus, great. If the mid card could get a tour bus, great. If all these things like the little nicky, like little ticky tacky type of charges that an independent wrestler has to do, that goes away, that'd be great. If the wrestlers could have some kind of retirement thing, that'd be awesome. Not saying that the wrestlers, maybe if they become full-time employees and they get benefits beyond, who knows? I just want I know you're shaking your head
it's
at
not
me.
gonna happen.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
No, I hope, I agree. I want all of those
Right?
things. It's
I
just, it's
want
not
all
gonna
that. If
happen.
you're making money out the wazoo, shouldn't you pay the zoo that you're taking care of all these superstars? Shouldn't they be able to benefit from this? Not
Yeah.
just the Cody Rhodes and the Roman Reigns of the world, who is Roman Reigns making $15 million for wrestling X amount of days. Why not make everybody happy to benefit from that, to make everything happy? Because, Santi, I don't know what was going on in the minds with all the wrestlers during the announcement, but it wasn't happy like in AAA when they announced the acquisition of AAA at Worlds Collide before Money in the Bank. There was a lot of grim-looking faces when they announced that WrestleMania was going to Saudi Arabia.
Hey, you mentioned about the benefits of going there from a talent perspective. There's the obvious glaring elephant in the room, which is women's wrestling at WrestleMania, right? Now, we're going to assume that social custom norms and laws are not going to change, and that the female wrestlers are going to have to continue to wrestle in the bodysuits and not in their traditional ring gear that they would, I'm assuming, prefer to wrestle in. That's an obvious downside. I think anybody is going to agree that sucks. That's brutal. Like, is there a way that we can find a middle ground here, so that we can confidently see as fans the female performers being treated the same way as the male performers? It's not really for us as podcasters to discuss. That's a completely cultural, legal thing in Saudi Arabia that has to be dealt within by the Saudi government, that we can't really comment on or have any impact on.
I can only comment from based on my experiences. Now, for those who don't know, quickly, in the esports world, a lot of big tournaments are held in Saudi Arabia
Yeah.
now. It is called the Esports World Cup. And I've been and I known friends who are approached to work over there. And I know a woman who works in esports. She went over there, didn't have the best of times. She had to speak up for herself and tell them, like, hey, if I'm going to go there again, things need to change, right? The way I was treated over there the first time is not going to fly, and we need better things. And then it did get better for her the next time she went over there. So is this not a sports wrestling thing? Esports as well as over there. A lot of entertainment is heading over there too, beyond that. But I just want to highlight on that is even Liv Morgan in an interview said it's uncomfortable wrestling in those bodysuits. Like the
How
amount
could
of
it not
sweat.
be, right? Of course.
It's hot over there too. Like it's like a dry heat over there as well. I'm just hoping that I know Bianca Belair had to say the things that she needed to say, and I know that is something that you want to hold on to. That I think they are making a change on some aspects in that world. It's a slow change, but it's definitely happened because, like we mentioned, look at the first PLE in Saudi Arabia. They had a lot of royalty. They had a lot of dignity. Like it felt like more
Dignitaries,
diplomats. Right,
tables,
right.
yeah.
It felt weird because it was very quiet,
It,
right?
it felt
And
like a presidential dinner party, didn't it?
yes,
With a
yes,
wrestling ring in the middle for our entertainment.
yes. You had servers come in and out, and it was very distracting. Everybody was talking amongst themselves, and wrestling was just the background noise. And if you go from that to like people chanting for LA Knight and all those kinds of things, and having the press conferences, and then having their favorites and all those kinds of things coming around to what it is now. Well, dare I say, I see a lot more children in Saudi Arabia shows than I do here in the States, here in front row. Like it's kind of wild to see kids hanging around the front row like they used to do back in the day. So those are the kinds of things to add to it. And forgive us if we're all over the place. This topic is all over the place.
Yeah, it's not binary, right? It's not simple this or that. Like there is a lot to try and unpack here. The only thing that I think is like a factual thing is that WWE is just chasing the money. We're trying to understand the ecosystem within that and what that does and what that impacts. But like that's what WWE will continue to do moving forward. That brings the question of like, can WrestleMania come back realistically to North America? And I think the answer is literally only if Vegas decides to put up its GDP to compete
Or
against Saudi Arabia at this point. I'm
yeah,
of the belief that if Saudi wants WrestleMania, they get it that year. They just do. And if they want it every year, they will get it every year. Now, it's very clear that the intention of this WrestleMania, and this is the intention of what Saudi Arabia is doing with all of these sports, bringing the World Cup, esports, as you're saying, because their intention is not to make money directly from the event. Their intention is to increase tourism. That is the intention. So I think the only way that this is a failure, shall we say, is if WrestleMania does not result in direct travel into Saudi Arabia. I don't think the intention is let's sell tickets to as many people internally within Saudi Arabia as possible. They want people to come in from the States, from Europe, from other countries, from Asia to experience Saudi Arabia. That, to me, that is what I'm seeing. They want to bring in that tourism. If Saudi Arabia, once the smoke settles from WrestleMania, looks at the numbers and sees that, hey, like 99% of the people that went to WrestleMania were all, citizens of Saudi Arabia, they might consider that a failure because they didn't bring in the net economic positive of travel into Saudi Arabia. If it does, Sancho, if it leads to a net positive gain in tourism, they will buy WrestleMania every year. They will buy WrestleMania every single year, and no one will be able to outbid them.
I have like fleeting thoughts from everything you said. The first thing you said about WrestleMania, does it change the dream of becoming a wrestler to perform at WrestleMania if it's in Saudi Arabia?
It could. And this might be the reason why they're trying to maybe further down the line make WrestlePalooza a North American version that's like always exclusive to North America of WrestleMania. And maybe WrestlePalooza will become the new dream for the new generation of fans. But the me's and you's of the world and the people listening to this podcast, it will always be WrestleMania. It will always be WrestleMania what we compare it to and what wrestlers trying to get in the industry right now will be looking towards. But maybe 15 years from now, what people will strive for is WrestlePalooza.
Well, because the thing is, I mentioned, like, when you perform in front of WrestleMania, it's that vibe of like performing in front of your like home crowd type of vibe almost. It always what's like it's in
Super Bowl.
yeah, it's the Super Bowl. This would be the equivalent of the NFL move the Super Bowl to Saudi Arabia. Like that's what the feeling for most American fans is right now is they feel that it is something that was homegrown here in the States and is being pulled away into another part of the world. And I could think of the times when the NFL started doing games in London. Like there wasn't really this thing like, oh, they're taking the game away from us type of vibe. It was just to globalize the world with NFL. Like the same thing with the NBA when they started to do all these different games around the world. It's not to necessarily chase the money. There's to globalize the game to get it introduced to different markets, to get the game more global. So then one day they could make money off of future markets like the China of the world with Yao Ming and, Germany with Dirk Nowitzki and then Greece with Giannis Antetokounmpo type of vibe. So there's so many of those type of situations out there, but this is not that. They're not trying to grow Australia by getting Rhea Ripley, a PLE out there. They're just trying to establish opportunities in other markets to get more money. One thing I'm hoping as well is when America does get back into the fray, the WWE, the only way they could do it, Santi, is if they pass the buck to us. That's how they bring back the WrestleMania to America. Imagine if for 5 years we don't get a Mania, and I'm not saying it stays in Saudi Arabia. What if it goes to London, it goes to France, it goes all over the world? And then when you say it's been 5 years since we had an American WrestleMania, think how much money they're going to charge for that one, dude. That one's going to cost a pretty penny because you know why? The demand from us is going to be at an all-time high to pay for that as well. It's a crazy slippery slope. It's a Pandora's box I think we've opened up here. And it's like in the first 10 years of Saudi Arabia, they played with it. They had Super Crown. I wonder what's the tourism numbers for Crown Jewel and things of that sort of the Super Showdown. Because hey, that's the only place you're going to see the Destruction brother, the Brothers of Destruction versus DX. Aren't you going to go over there? If those numbers weren't great, I don't think the tourism is going to be the thing here, Santi. Because if you tell me Rock and Roman's happening at WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. Are you going to travel over there? Or are you like, hey, man, I get to watch it from home? This is a better viewing experience, right?
I always believe that viewing from home is the better viewing experience. I've always been very vocal about that. But like, that's the thing. A Saudi WrestleMania has the cash on hand to be able to give us things that wrestling fans have been dreaming for a long time.
Dream matches,
The
dude.
dream matches that are available are everything is on the table. Like with Saudi money, everything is on the table. Dude, would it be crazy for me to say that a WWE making a temporary deal with AEW to bring somebody in? Hey, Tony Khan, here's a sweet handful of millions of dollars to lend us Moxley for a WrestleMania. It sounds insane, but as you've seen clearly, money makes the world go round. I'm sure even Tony Khan has the right price for something like that. And the entity that can pay that is Saudi Arabia. Again, I'm that's crazy talk. I'm aware, but is it? Right? But is it crazy talk? That's the kind of things that you can do with the type of money that's being paid to TKO WWE in this Saudi deal. It's a lot more complex than just, boo, Saudi, not North America, wah. There's a lot more to discuss aside from that. Like, it's happening, so I'm trying to find the positives in the situation. I'm so happy for our Saudi viewers because we have so many of them. On my YouTube channel, I have a lot of people from Saudi Arabia. They're jazzed about this, and I, to a degree, feel bad for them for seeing this great news that's being given to them getting sullied and soured in so many ways by the internet. This is just good stuff for them. I hope you guys enjoy your WrestleMania. I hope you guys get a great show. You guys are an awesome fan base, and you've earned a show like this, frankly, as a fan base. The other last thing that I want to touch on, once again, sort of defending this, is this notion of people saying, oh, here we go. Now we're going to get Brothers of Destruction coming back. We're going to have Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels again. They're going to try and bring Yokozuna back. That's an old mentality, man. What's that?
Yokozuna's dead, but I understand.
That's the meme.
I get the reference.
Yeah. That's the reference being that in the first Saudi show, they wanted Ultimate Warrior, who'd been dead for 5 years. They wanted Yokozuna, who'd been dead for like 20, right? That was such a demonstration that we were dealing with a bunch of casuals over there, and that they were the ones that were dictating the booking of the show as opposed to WWE themselves. And people are trying to justify that this is a bad idea because, oh, look, now we're going to get this bullshit again. Guys, we haven't gotten that bullshit in years. Like, we are getting WWE booked shows with WWE talent at these Saudi shows. These are no longer non-canon shows. Remember, we used to say, Saudi show, you can miss it. It's whatever happens there doesn't actually count into the WWE programming. Now it does, because they're booking these Saudi shows like they're regular PLEs. So this notion that they're going to book some crazy, dumb, stupid shit like they used to in the late 2010s, it's an antiquated thought, and it bears no weight when people are arguing about this, in my opinion.
I mean, dude, it's more than that, though, Santi. If they were even to have all the ducks in a row for now, I'm not even saying like if this is like, let's just take the country of Saudi Arabia out the equation, because I think people are going to latch on to whatever criticism of this thing as it's a thing against Saudi Arabia. It's just more of this notion of we've already had Shawn Michaels go into out of retirement for money. Travesty, tragic. Car wreck, was not even great, right? If the rumors are true that Shawn's training again to come back again for this thing, it already dampens the legacy that he had by, being retired by Taker, okay? If you have the thing of Stone Cold, who's rumored to be training again, and if Stone Cold answers the call for whatever big X country brings them out of retirement, we lose that legacy of Stone Cold not showing up at WrestleMania to help Cody Rhodes because there wasn't the right amount of numbers for the money, right? There's going to be so many of these conversations. The Rock versus Roman. Okay. Granted, that was by our own hand, but we did not want Rock and Roman. We wanted Cody. But Rock and Roman wasn't good enough for this culture in terms of this landscape, is the word I'm looking for, because we just didn't have the right X's and O's. So you're telling me that the art of wrestling, the art of putting on a show, the story was not good enough to be made because there was not enough money. And I think at the end of the day, that's how I feel about all this happening, even 10 years ago, how I feel. And like I mentioned, if we go back in time, I'm sure people in their home territories of watching the same wrestlers coming through their territories at the same time in the same state feel the same way. It's that notion of, yes, the wrestlers are going to be getting paid more. Yes, the product's going to be more polished and everything, but we're just missing that art form, what pro wrestling was. But Santi, I want to flip this around again. It's still an American product being purchased by a global country or a global purchaser, a customer, right? American products supplying to the world its product. And unfortunately, sometimes America, we couldn't afford it. And it is what it is. It's moving out because we can't afford it. It's very expensive to do productions here in America. If you look at the Marvel side of things, the Hollywood industry, again, folks, this is a global thing. This is not just one industry, multiple industries. Look at Hollywood, Santi. They're no longer making movies in Hollywood. In Los Angeles, in California, where would you think they're making the Marvel movies, which is no longer in Atlanta, Georgia, by the way? Where did they move camp?
Didn't they move
To
to like
London.
Oh,
To
really?
Europe. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
over there in Budapest. I have a friend who's in the industry. He is making movies for Marvel in Budapest, right? Everything is cheap over there. I did not take on a contract to work for Fortnite in Denmark because I would have to go fly and work over there because it's cheaper productions to have in Denmark. Everything's cheaper outside of the States. And the WWE is making moves, in my belief, so they could stay afloat and keep this industry going for years and years to come. Now, when you hear numbers like 100 million, X amount of million, you ask yourself, Santi, how much is not enough for us? When you hear the TKO executive saying we're not really maximizing the amount of money we can make off our American audience, you hate it, but you got to say that no doubt these moves are for sustainability.
Right? If you're an American, one of the things that American culture celebrates is capitalism. Here's what happens when a country when an entity like a TKO practices capitalism, because this is exactly what's happening here.
What's shocking is Vince is now the babyface of that situation. It's so shocking to me. And I know that's been brought up early, and it was earlier last week, and this is old news for everybody, but Vince was a big proponent of cheaper tickets. That's what he believed in. He believed in family, and he believed in providing that family experience. And I made this video so many times years before, is that the WWE is on a slippery slope because it started pricing out families, and now it's pricing out America in terms of already what it's doing.
What it seems to me is that obviously the correct business decision for WWE when you look at the numbers, but I think it boils down to this being a tough cultural pill to swallow for a lot of people.
Keep talking, Papa.
Yeah, I do think that the cultural loss of, like Sancho said, Americana in pro wrestling is what's becoming difficult for people to come to terms with. And I'm here to tell you that you gotta you just kind of have to now, because this notion of WrestleMania being international and being outside of the United States might soon become the norm, or become a lot more common than it has in the past.
So,
and that's going to be a tough pill to swallow.
To play advocate here, Paul Heyman advocate, not this entire thing. If it was in London, no, I think there would be some backlash, but it wouldn't be to this level,
Correct.
Of course. But it still would be the same thing, as it is an American product being purchased by a different country. And at the same time, it does lose that pop culture Americana that we talked about. But it's interesting, if you look at the 80s, Santi, like I said, it's a very complex thing. Like Americana culture, pop culture was the thing in Europe, man. Blue jeans and all those kinds of vibes, that was the thing. But
You know what though?
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna say this because I was around in the social media space to see this. This feels like the same reaction that was going around when the initial deal of Saudi Arabia was announced, and then years went by, and then people kind of started to ease up on it. But I think people always thought that WrestleMania was sacred, that it was never up for grabs. It was never for sale. Just like probably people thought WWE was never for sale to a government entity back in 2018, and then it was, and then here we are. We're kind of experiencing the same thing again. But for me, this time around, been there, done that. I already saw it coming a mile away. If you're shocked at this happening, by the way, I don't know what to tell you. This was the most telegraphed thing. There was never a matter of if. It was always a matter of when. WrestleMania going to Saudi Arabia. You already had the Royal Rumble there. It was literally a matter of time. I will say I'm shocked and surprised as to how quick the turnaround on this was. I thought this was maybe going to be a 47, 48, maybe 50. I'm also a little bit surprised as to how early they're announcing this. This isn't normal. Nearly 2 years away.
Get ahead of it, dude. You're trying to get ahead of it, man.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
They're gonna get all the negative press, all the people who are
get
mad
it out of your
about
system.
Get it out of your system, and then you're gonna tuck yourself out, and then you're gonna move on to the next thing, right? You're gonna move on to the next talking point, and you're gonna get riled up about that. Bottom line is, man, if you were to say, vote for your wallet, right? You hear that too, right? Show them the capitalism thing that always works is like, how can you show the company that you're disgruntled or you don't like what's happening? The fortunate thing is, I don't think the WWE, they love to say like, hey, we make money off the fans. I don't think they are about that anymore, man. They got too big of sponsorships, especially they could always make a company out of Saudi Arabia, and TV ratings don't mean anything anymore, man. And they just don't. Everything's social media, and everything's about social media numbers. When's the last time you heard the WWE talk about the ratings on television? No, they talk about their social media impact. I'm just it's just something that it's not going to change in ring, but it just changed everything outside of it in my opinion about it. And hey, did you know how close they were from the Saudi Arabia government buying the WWE?
I'm sure it was close.
They were so close. They were very, very close to buying the WWE. What was it? Endeavor? Is that the
Endeavor bought it? They became TKO.
Endeavor? Yeah.
But yeah, I always assumed that it was between them and the I forgot the acronym, but it's like the Saudi Public Fund.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. What I want to know, our listeners and the people that are passerbys, they just click it for the YouTube video. Is this going to change the way you watch WWE? Like legitly, all right? Like, I know on a surface level, you could say, no, I'm not going to watch it anymore. But like, I really want to know, does it change your viewing habits of the WWE? And what will change the viewing habits of the WWE? Will you go? I've started seeing people saying, I'm wanting to watch AEW, but are you? Are you going to watch AEW? Are you going to support an American thing if that's your thing that you're standing on about WWE and selling out to the Saudi Arabia? Like, it's not you're going to go to AEW America, which is fine if you do. But I'm just wanting to know, like, how are you processing it, right? I'm interested to hear if you are going to protest and not watch it and boycott it your own way.
Like, yeah. Like
a lot of things I'm just interested in.
Yeah. I am interested in that too. I've seen people in my chat say, that's it. I'm boycotting WWE. This decision to go to Saudi Arabia. That's the final straw. To those people, I ask, how come you've been watching WWE for the past 7 years? Because they've been in Saudi Arabia for 7 years now. I don't think you're going to boycott it. I don't believe that you are. I don't believe that you are. If you do,
I feel
good for you. Like, hey, stand on your business.
A stronger thing for me is ESPN, honestly. Like ESPN and the cost of the app. And I know people are saying, like, I have cable. There hasn't been a YouTube deal yet. YouTube TV did. There hasn't been a deal with some cable providers.
It's still really confusing. It's still really confusing going into WrestlePalooza.
And I found out that you need ESPN Unlimited, Santi. Within the app, you could watch ESPN, but you need ESPN unlimited.
Which
You know, when you
which
go
is
to, you
more?
want to, yeah, when you want to watch a football game, you're like, oh, let me watch this out of state SEC game. Oh, I need to have ESPN unlimited to be able to watch it.
Wow.
I told you this would be a thing. It's not as so it's
Yeah.
cut and dry that you get in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may think like, oh, my cable subscription covers it. Double check before you get to WrestlePalooza and see if it can. And I'm telling you, there's going to be a slew of people upset that they're not going to be able to watch it. Yeah, and I guess what's the most interesting thing, because O'Shea Jackson, the big fan, was trying to find a way to find the silver lining like you, right? He was trying to like, what if this was a way to, for the money that they're going to go ahead and make all the tickets cheaper here and give back.
Yeah, that was
to the
wishful
crowd.
thinking from O'Shea.
Wishful thinking from O'Shea, and I know what you're trying to do, brother. But I'm like, that'd be cool, man. That'd be cool.
Yeah, okay.
That'd be cool.
Like when I read the O'Shea tweet, more or less what he was saying is like, hey, what if this is a way for TKO to pay down their debt?
Right.
So that they can make things more affordable in WWE. And because we were talking about this on my live stream, and to people, like I just said, hey, remember when they increased prices for things in COVID because things went up in price because they needed to increase pricing because logistics got more expensive and whatnot.
Yep. Travel, transport.
Did those prices ever come down? No. once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you're not putting it back in.
We just got shrinkflation.
Shrinkflation, yeah.
Yes.
It got worse. It got worse.
You ever picked up a bag of chips? He's like, bro, this is light as mess.
It's ridiculous.
There's a lot of air in this. This is just a bag of air with some chips.
Bunch of flavored air in there. Yeah. Very
flavored. That's what's happening with our wrestling, brother.
Yeah. No,
we got less house shows.
Yeah.
We got less PLEs here now in the States.
Less matches in PLEs?
Less matches in PLEs, brother.
Yeah, we're dude. That's why I love putting critical thinking into like hearing other people's opinions, right? Because like people could have just been like, "Oh, Shay, that's not gonna happen," but like, hey, let's put it to like, let's think a little bit more. Let's dissect, and then we start finding more skeletons in the closet. It becomes like the magician pulling out like the friggin' like towels from underneath the hat or whatever. It's just like, oh, it just keeps going.
Did you look at that thing I sent you of the Flash magician? I send you a lot of crazy things in IG, but you should check out your IG DMs.
Did you see the best places to fart in Disney video I sent you?
This is the quality of things that Santi sends me.
Here's the top 5 places to fart in Disney parks.
Question.
Yes.
I wondered this. I pondered this. When Disney opened up Tokyo Disney, like that's an American type of vibe. Was the mouse chasing money when he went to Tokyo? When he opened up the one in France? Oh,
well, were people like, oh, not my Disney over there?
I don't know. I heard it's actually pretty baller to go to Tokyo Disney, dude.
I'll be going. I'll let you know.
You are?
Yeah, we're going to Tokyo Disney. Yeah.
Dude, you gotta ride the Beauty and the Beast ride.
I'm doing everything when I'm there. Everything.
You awesome.
We're doing a whole day in Disney.
Are you gonna try to see New Japan?
I'm gonna try, but like the dates don't really coincide. I've looked at the shows. I think I'm more likely to be able to catch a Noah show than New Japan.
Oh, that's sick though.
Yeah, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to watch something, either Stardom, Noah, New Japan. I don't think will work.
You're going to be massive there, and I'm not talking about your social media presence. You're not like going to be a speed where people are going to follow you. I'm talking about just you.
I'm going to be a kaiju there.
You're going to be so massive, man.
I'm looking forward to that.
Giant.
I'm looking forward to that.
That's going to be you, dude. Hey, I'm telling you, Santi. And I think this is what Saudi's hoping for, just to bring it back to put a nice button on this topic, is they want you to catch that fever and want you to go back. I'm telling you, dude, once you go to Tokyo, you never want to go to anywhere else in the world. Tokyo is my favorite place in the world. And it is a place where it sticks with you and you think about it, and it's attached to like serenity and all these thoughts. Now, that's just a tourist perspective, right? Because, you know, every city has crazy stuff. But I love Tokyo. I went there and I loved it. And I think about it every time.
Well, I'll let you know how it is. Let's talk about something else. Andrade Andrade has been fired by the WWE seemingly randomly. Kind of crazy, right?
Silent quitting from Andrade.
Yeah, dude. Andrade did the corporate quiet quitting, just stopped answering WWE. Obviously, we don't have all the information. There's all kinds of reports coming around that Andrade failed a wellness policy check, that he did. This is where we don't know what it is, but it's confirmed that he did something bad enough at a TV taping that required him getting escorted out. And then the other thing that's circulating around is that he just stopped answering WWE, and that was it. That's all, which I guess kind of explains the absence of Rey Fenix and Andrade anymore. Dude, how funny was like when Rey Fenix and Seth and Sami Zayn were talking and they agreed to it, and then he just goes, "Animo." Like a Pokemon. But anyways, Andrade is out of the WWE after being out from AEW, after being out from WWE. Here's my quick thoughts on this, okay, Sancho? First of all, there's clearly a place for Andrade, if not the main roster. You had AAA right there, right? There was always somewhere that Andrade could have flourished within the WWE. I had a cousin, Sancho, who kept having problems at all of their different jobs. The first time, they're like, "Oh no, my work is so toxic. I hate my boss. So I'm leaving. I can't. It's their fault, not mine." Like, all right, that sucks. It happens. And then they got another job, and within 5 months, I learned that she quit. Why'd you quit? "Oh, I had the worst boss ever. The worst work environment. It was so unfair what they had me doing. Yada yada yada." And then Sancho, it happened a third time within 4 months. And then at that point I said, listen, and I had a conversation with her. I don't think the problem is the work and the environment. I'm starting to believe that you are the problem. After 3 subsequent outings of a company like that, at some point you have to sort of point the finger at yourself and realize that the only common thread in all of these is you. So I'm going to use that logic here with Andrade. Having been ousted from the WWE the first time, going to AEW, it didn't work over there, and then coming back to WWE and it not working again. I'm following the rules of baseball. 3 strikes, that's a touchdown as far as I'm concerned. I have to start pointing the finger at maybe Andrade's the problem at this point, not the wrestling organizations that he's working for. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just... It seems too convenient for it to happen enough times where it just doesn't work over and over. Andrade's like, "Didn't work this time. Let's run it again. Run it again."
Okay, all brain rot aside, Santi, I do think that Andrade is the type of cat that's like, "Hey, I'm being disrespected. I'm out." Like the first sign of like, this booking sucks. This creative sucks. This best of 7 was looking really good, and then you mucked it up with LA Knight. Yeah, I'm out, right? There's so many of those things. Like, fans liked him. Great worker, good in-ring, great moveset. No doubt he was there at the AAA announcement of Worlds Collide. He was sitting there. Decent promos, has a good aura about him. There's nothing on paper or what's seen on the eyeball test, Santi, that says it's bad. So, of course, we just got to go out behind the scenes type of vibe. And if that's not good, then the whole thing's rotten. But at the end of the day, I do believe he's just the type of character that if he doesn't just get what he wants from the earlier on, he just... Like, Santi, if we did the podcast together, right, and we're working hard, you know, one person's doing like 60% of the work and the other person's doing like 30% and just forgetting about that 10% of the work, right? The other person's like doing all the things behind the scenes and being a good community manager and things like that, making sure the community's happy, things of that sort, right? And then all of a sudden, if the first podcast, they're not in the thumbnail, there's 2 types of people, right? There's one person that's just going to dip right away, be like, "How come I'm not on the thumbnail, pal? I'm leaving. I'm out of here." And then there's a second one, right? A grinder, the one that's going to put in the work, the one that shows up, the one that clocks in and time out, the one that's first one here, last one out, the one that comments on people's comments at 3 a.m. It doesn't matter. The one that says, "Hey, there's a problem on Patreon. I'm going to look into it and fix it." Oh, Max comes in. There's that person, right? There's that person. And that's the kind of people you want working for you the most. You know what I'm saying?
And those are the types of people you take advantage of. So that's what we're doing here at the Wrestling is Cool podcast, taking advantage of Sancho. That's That's the motto here, you know? And maybe that's what Andrade felt. Maybe he felt like he was being taken advantage of and
Yeah,
he pieced. But there's only 2 players in town, you know?
it's true.
There's only 2 players in town. If I'm Tony Khan AEW, I don't want Andrade. I don't want to work with Andrade again. If
True.
I'm WWE, I don't. That's it. Like bridges burn potentially.
That's it, man. He could
That's
be an indie guy. I mean, he could do well in indies. I mean, I think
I
there is a life
agree.
with that.
I agree. I mean, what's funny is that like even some of the other places that where he could flourish are out of the picture. Like AAA, he could have gone to Mexico and had a run in AAA, out of the picture. CMLL,
CML, yeah.
they work really closely with AEW though.
Japan?
TNA works really closely with WWE. Maybe going to Japan.
It'd be Japan.
In Japón, actually.
Japón, there it is.
Japón. Yeah, man. I have to maybe raise people's eyebrow at Andrade. And I think it's really easy in all of these situations to be like, big bad company. Well, holding down the little guy. Like, it's like, man, it's happened 3 times. It's happened 3 times. Enough times I have to start looking at the common thread, and the common thread is Andrade. Obviously, I don't know what's going on, what's happened. I have all of the same information that everybody does.
Yeah, that's why I don't really like speculating on what may have been the thing. Bottom line is Andrade's not around, but I do think creative did fail him.
Sure.
But what we could be like, they failed him because maybe Zelina didn't want to be his manager anymore. We don't know. And I hate speculating on that because it just opens up a can of imaginary worms. You know that? You know what I mean? That's a new phrase that we should start saying. Open up a can of imaginary worms. Because the can of worms is like a thing that real problems arise. But of imaginary worms, Santi, they don't exist.
Mm. Moving on here to Bailey.
You ever ate an imaginary worm, Santi?
I may have.
You ever looked at something that was, they wanted you to comment on? You're like, why would I open up this imaginary can of worms? I'm out skis.
I don't think
And
I've ever.
speaking of it,
where are you going with this?
I'm going with this entire thing of Bailey and this imaginary worms of creating 2 characters. The Two-Faced Bailey gimmick. Let me go ahead and take this one, Santi. I don't like it. Do you know why? The WWE fails at executing these kind of plans. It is very surface level. They take real mental issues, real mental disorders, and they just put the most simplest explanation on it. And it doesn't work on professional wrestling. It comes across as disingenuous. Now, I know people are excited for the fireworks. They're excited for the yelling and all these kinds of things. And hell, mental disorders are a real thing. Mental health is a real thing. We literally had AJ Lee talk about how therapy saved her life, things of these aspects. If you listen to her podcast, you talk about how close she was from going to the other side. I'm saying here right now, Bailey's Two-Faced character is skirting a dangerous level that I don't know the WWE can perform it. And I've said these before when it comes to the love triangle with Dom and Rhea and Liv Morgan. I am now at DEFCON 5 when it comes down to this Bailey story, because it's going to go down a slippery slope that I don't think Bailey as a wrestler could come back from. There's no way Bailey could come back from this situation. How did Goldust come back from his Tourette's? The hell if I remember, but gets electrocuted again? I don't know. I'm not a fan of this, man. This is not going to be good. I'm excited for Bailey. Bailey finally gets some TV time and gets to show her levels. But this is like covering a heel turn and a face turn at the same time. It's engrossing. I'm engaged to watching it, but I think it's still cheap the way they're doing it.
I think that WWE has I'm gonna actually play devil's advocate. They have a history of making it work. In terms of having dual personalities. We saw it with Mick Foley numerous times with 3 different personalities. And we have a really recent one with Uncle Howdy. No, excuse me, not Uncle Howdy. With Bray Wyatt being the Fiend, and then this Mr. Rogers character that's super lively and super happy, and things are super colorful. And then when he's with the Fiend, he's super dark and super evil.
Supernatural.
But Bailey is not Bray Wyatt. Exactly. But Bailey is not Bray Wyatt.
The character Bailey. I want to prefer, like, I'm not talking about Bailey, the person behind Bailey. I'm talking about this character.
So, okay. So I'm just trying to unpack your concerns with this more. Because I don't think you fully explained it that well. Like you part of your concern comes from WWE's inability to execute this, but I have examples where they have been able to execute it. So maybe walk me through a little bit more.
This
Like
is
what is your
different.
walk me through a little bit more through
Sure.
this.
Pack a lunch. Okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
go on a hike. This is different. They are dealing with mental disorders and things of that sort, right? And this is a new era of this this environment that we're in. Okay, you had LA Knight come out right before he said he was gonna make fun of someone crying. He said it's okay for men to cry, and I'm an advocate for these kinds of situations. Take care of yourself. It's a masculine thing to cry. And then he went into I'm going to tell you, make fun of the person for crying, right? Bailey is dealing with two split personalities that wasn't caused by anything in terms of a physical thing like being electrocuted, wasn't caused by for Mankind's case, him being tortured, because remember, he was a boiler room character that was being tortured and suppressed, right? That was that character's origins, and then Mick Foley came out of there. It wasn't caused by concussion, like Perry Saturn falling in love with a mop. Okay. This was just caused by what? Mental fatigue, depression, being lost and lossless. These are heavier types of things that are not cartoon based like pro wrestling can be. These are legit serious things that people deal with every day. And my concern is I don't believe the WWE is going to take the time to deal with this properly. Instead, it's going to be surface level, and they're going to approach it in a comical way, in a surface level way of, oh, Karen, ding dong, Bailey, mad, angry, screaming. We're not going to get the nuance and the depth of why a person could do that. Nice Bailey, hug her, does her moveset from Bailey, all surface level. If the WWE want to do this right, get underneath the hood, get into the nitty gritty, explain to the American or to the audience what does this do? What does it do to family members and friends when someone deals with split personalities, Alzheimer's, all those kinds of things, right? Even the Parkinson's disease, like all these kinds of things that Bruce Willis is dealing with, right? Get into it, man. Show that Lyra is dealing with something that is not on the surface levels of being like, I'm being yelled at and I'm scared. Like, really get into these kinds of conversations. And I'm saying, as a product that the WWE is presenting these days, they're not willing to dive that deep. And because they're not, it's just going to stay on that surface level, man. And that's a very dangerous place to be if you're willing to play with these cards. Very dangerous cards to play with.
I agree. The best episodes of Degrassi are the ones that handle. I know. Are the ones that handle the serious topics, right? The legendary episodes of Degrassi are those.
Why are you this way? Why does your brain work this way, Santi?
I'm sorry. You want to talk about serious topics? Then it goes to Degrassi, who is a show that has historically handled them incredibly well within their characters, while still managing to be entertaining and handling these conversations in a very serious manner. Like the handling of the conversation about school shootings, drug usage. Like Degrassi has handled everything perfectly. I kind of lean towards agreeing with you in that WWE, when it comes to serious issues like these, that they aren't capable of handling them in the same grace as Degrassi, where they're able to respect the topic while also being entertaining at the same way. I think at the end of the day, you're overthinking believing that WWE sees this as a serious issue. I don't think that they do. I think it is. I think they just see this as, whoa, wacky zany. We're good. We're bad. I think you're believing that there's somebody there that's like, hey, let's handle this serious issue of split personality, schizophrenia, mental disorders. I don't think that's what's happening. I think somebody's just like kooky crazy. Ha, woo. So they're not going to handle it in the same way that a Degrassi would, that does from the onset, when they're writing that topic, are treating it like a serious topic and are finding a way to tell a tale and making it entertaining while respecting the topic. I think you might be holding WWE in too high regards and thinking that they are treating this like that from the onset. It's a serious issue, which I don't think they are.
You're right. You're right. I mean, maybe they do it in an Unreal type of situation, right?
Okay.
Where this conversation does happen behind the scenes and they do explore all these things. And then they do explore Bayley talking about it and like having an issue. Like, when we presented this two-faced Bayley character, we were worried that XYZ, and then maybe they talk to experts and whatever, right? That'd be a cool way to unearth these conversations behind the scenes for WWE. I think it's more like this pro wrestling is not the right vehicle. And maybe it is. And maybe they need to change some things how to present it. Because I think for me, I'm excited to think that there is something there, that they do have that opportunity. They do. Let me go ahead and pull reference for my time, Saved by the Bell, where good old Jessie Spano was addicted to caffeine pills and she was taking them, and she was doing all these things and being involved in a band and things like that. And Zach was like, whoa, slow down. Jesse, you can't do this. And then Jesse goes, I'm so excited. Remember this? He goes, I'm so scared, right? We could have that moment with Lyra and Bayley. I know.
Yeah,
you know why? Because in wrestling, things are settled in the ring, brother. Yeah. We get a match out of it, and you get a match between Bayley, who's going to go back and forth, and I don't know, Lyra has to hit her finisher to knock Bayley out, to exercise Karen Ding Dong out of Bayley. You know what I'm thinking? That's what's going to happen.
So I'm going to go back to the Well of Match Club. All right.
Well of Match Club.
The Well of Match Club.
The Book of Match Club.
Yes, we're opening it up because we've actually had this conversation before about the handling of the serious topic of infidelity when we watched the story play out of Edge and Matt Hardy, where we're like, they actually kind of did all of the right things in terms of telling a story of infidelity. But I remember you and I saying like, yeah, sure, but I still don't like it. It's too real. We want fantasy in wrestling. It got too real. Sure, the match was great. And I do think that from beginning to end, the execution of handling real life infidelity and using it to settle it into a big, nasty steel cage match, they did all of this right. And yeah, you and I still walked out saying, yeah, but I didn't like that. That was a little too real, a little too gross. So now saying that, do you want them to execute it as if it's a serious topic now, knowing that you have experience seeing WWE properly execute a serious topic back in the Ruthless Aggression era days of the topic of infidelity with Matt Hardy and Edge? Because I felt icky about it, and I know you did too.
I think you have to. If you have to. Like I said, you play with these cards, you have to do these cards justice. Because you have to also think about it as well. Bayley's going to have to deal with this everywhere she goes during this run. People like, who am I talking to? Am I talking to nice Bayley or mean Bayley? Right? Right? There's going to be all these kind of, and that's the way I would talk to Bayley to make it light. Like, so these are things that you open up Pandora's box, man. And the way to close this properly is you're going to have to do this with care. Brother, they know how to do it. They did the bloodline with care. You literally had Roman beating down Jimmy in front of Jay, right?
Yep.
They could do it. They could bring the drama and the intensity to a climax in a very, very cool way. And that's what made me fall in love with Roman, because I was like, dude, there's this guy who is in a pro wrestling ring cutting these monologues to his cousins, and he's like, you better get behind me or I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to kill you, bro. Like all these kind of crazy things. And I believed in it because they were like, let's go there. And I'm just saying, Santi, as a Bayley fan, as someone who loves Bayley and all that she does, if you're going to go there, go there. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you're going to dive in, because if you do WWE, you have a beautiful story to tell that will relate to so many people.
Mm-hmm. I just don't think they know they went there. That's
oh yeah, that's a good point.
I don't think they know they went there. I still think that they're like, it's just some weird,
they think
funny, crazy.
It's like Batman. Batman Two-Face. They think it's that sort of like, it's just a two-faced villain that could live in this world and be Two-Face, and we're gonna have fun with the Phantom of the Opera type of vibe, or Jekyll and Hyde. That's all they see it as. It's another Jekyll and Hyde, Sancho. You're taking this way too seriously. We're having fun here, pal. It's Halloween.
Moving on to something that is fun. Dominik Mysterio winning the Mega Campeonato de Triple A. He is our new world champion in AAA, ladies and gentlemen, beating Vikingo clean with the help of absolutely nobody. I have a question for you. Somebody sent this in one of my hot takes videos. I'm like, oh, I think that this is a good conversation here to have on the podcast. Is Dominik Mysterio the only from the ground up built megastar by Triple H so far? When you look at everybody else that's a big star in WWE, many of them were already there. By the time Triple H took over, they were already megastars. Dominik Mysterio, when Triple H took over, remember, it was Triple H that turned him heel at Clash in the Castle in 2022. That was Triple H's first post SummerSlam show where he took over. And when I look at the trajectory of Dominik Mysterio, I have seen like all of the proper steps being taken by Triple H to make sure that Dominik Mysterio is a long-term star. Some other ones that could be thrown out there could be like a Tiffany Stratton. But when you think about Tiffany, she hasn't really evolved since entering the main roster. It's the same Tiffany. It's just now they're putting her in like main event position. She hasn't been built this. She was already given to Triple H as the Tiffany that we see today, if you ask me. So I want to, aside from getting your thoughts on Triple Mania and him winning the world championship, I want to ponder that question to you. Is he the only megastar that Triple H has built?
Because he inherited Vince McMahon's Dom, dude. The 20-year veteran? You're saying that's a Triple H thing?
You're right. This was a Vince McMahon decision. You're right. We got to give Vince the props again.
Who put him in the ring when he was a child and they had a custody match? Vince did, okay?
Vince just saw the talent all the way as early as 8 years old. It's like when Bronny James was getting handed out scholarships when he was 6.
Exactly. Oh, is that a Triple H thing? I think this is more of a Dom, dude. We can't discredit Dom. Dom took something that wasn't working, right? Being the son of Rey, where it was just god awful. And they put him with Rhea Ripley. They sent him in prison.
Yeah, but who did that? Who did that? Who was creatively taking the liberties to make those decisions to remove?
Deadbeat dad Ray causing all these issues with his only son. You know what upsets me so much is that Rey Mysterio could easily say, hey, Dom, you're winning the wrong way. You're not doing it the right way. I'm proud of you that you're the first Mysterio to be the mega champion. I'm proud of you to being a 2-belt champion, the first Mysterio, yada, yada, yada. And you're doing it the wrong way, son. But you know what? Instead, what does good old deadbeat Rey Mysterio does? He goes, hey, Dom, you're not going to win because you suck. And I'm not a fan of you. And you're not ready. That's all he says. How is that a positive force? So you ask me, Santi, who created this Dom from the ground up? It is his father from birth, who's hated on his own seed this entire time, brother.
Nature versus nurture, right? He nurtured what became Dominik Mysterio with his terrible fatherhood.
Never there, always traveling, working away, missing out on birthdays. How many birthdays, Ray, have you missed of Dominik Mysterio? And it created this resentment,
pressure. Pressure makes diamonds, Sancho. And hey, Dominik has been under pressure since 8.
Tom, you think we, the WWE, made you, Tom? It was your father, Tom. You need to take him out, Tom. Like, whoa, scary and whoa.
Okay, down. All right. Stories aside, go back to the question I asked. The Triple H. No, you didn't.
I'm submitting my essay.
Your essay was it was Ray abusing him as a child.
Oh, that's my term paper. I've settled it. I've submitted it. I'm like that one student that the college professor has been waiting for to say it. Like, you know what? 100 for this course. You don't have to attend anymore. That's me right here, right now.
All right. Well, I'll answer the question. I think he is the only star that Triple H has made. I don't think anybody else has advanced themselves the way that Dominik Mysterio has.
That's my hidden gift, by the way.
Go ahead. Keep going into business for yourself, Sancho. Go ahead. Politic your way to the top of wrestling is cool. Sancho must pose.
You see this, Santi? I want to give you an opportunity just like John Cena gave me the opportunity. I'm Sami Zayn you, by the way. That's what I'm doing. Good old Sami Zayn. I hope they don't do that for every open challenge because this could be as annoying as mess.
What, and pre-announce it?
Pre-announce it. Yeah. Don't let the pop happen when he walks out of the ring. And have Sami be like, look at me, I'm coming down and I'm giving you a gift that you deserve, that I feel you deserve. It's not what is his face, Nick Aldis giving this match. It's me, Sami Zayn. It's not an open challenge. It's the Sami gifting challenge. It's Sami's gifts. Here you go. Oh, thank you, Sami Zayn. Forgive me. Now Ray's so happy. Ray Phoenix is like, oh, thank you. Without you, Sami, I wouldn't be on TV. Oh, thank you, Sami Zayn. My favorite thing is my audience, my communities call him Whammy Zayn for all the crying he's doing.
So, okay, what are your thoughts on the open challenge so far? Because I've loved the matches, but I agree with you in that, like, I don't like the fact that it doesn't have that open challenge shock and surprise. That's what worked with John Cena so well, right? Yeah. It's like Cena's in the ring. You have that, like, quiet before the storm where you're sort of waiting to see whose music hits, and you either go, oh, or, okay, here we go. And I want that for the Sami Zayn Open Challenge. I wish that they hadn't spoiled Ray Phoenix. I wish that they hadn't spoiled
Nakamura.
Not kind of, right? We haven't had that yet, but I was going to say Carmelo
Hayes.
You
didn't see him in the background?
Oh, no, I saw him in the background, and I'm assuming he will eventually answer the call. But Carmelo Hayes, I think it would have been cool to hear his music hit as opposed to, like, having it just play out the week before. That, to me, is nitpicking, though, because the matches have been fantastic thus far. What I want out of the Sami Zayn Open Challenge is for them to land the plane, what they weren't able to do with John Cena. We talked about that last week. I hope that with the Open Challenge, they're able to, when he loses the title, it creates a new star. It elevates somebody new. There's a story behind it, unlike John Cena. But so far, so good with the Sami Zayn Open Challenge. I think it's been fantastic.
I am DMing somebody right now. You know who I am DMing? Dominik Mysterio. Because you've been acting like a #1 Dom fan. You out there making your little shorts.
Okay, first of all, you're the one who has completely thrown Dominik Mysterio's topic out the window. You didn't want to talk about him, so we moved on.
The show. You drove the show.
You went into business for yourself to make some little funny bit that people are going to complain about. For sure in the comments. So now we don't get to talk about Dominik Mysterio because of you. Now we get to feed the people more Sami Zayn because you didn't want to talk about Dominik Mysterio.
I want to talk about big old dirty Dom.
Oh, now you want to go back to the topic that I initially set out? Okay, go ahead.
You asked a question about Triple H. Who cares about Triple H? We're talking about Dom.
Go ahead. Lead the show.
How big of a moment for Dominik Mysterio because I love the little wrinkle. The WWE figured out a way to put Ray in that moment in the ring, but make it kayfabe, which I thought was brilliant, right? Let's put the belt on Dom, but make it because Dom is a heel. He's like, put the belt on me, papa type of vibe. And I love the little wrinkle that he didn't hug Judgment Day back. And instead he hugged, allegedly, Ludwig Kaiser, Grande Americana. Like, I love that moment. And I'm hoping, Santi, that he doesn't lose his IC title as quickly as they want. I want 2-belt Dom to run around, or dare I say, what do you say? The Mega Intercontinental Champion?
Like, I like that name. I like
good old Mega Desk. You like Mega Desk?
Yes, good reference. Sick reference. You got the best references.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate you that. So my question for you is, does Dom go down to Mexico for like months and months until Liv Morgan comes back to reestablish that story?
I mean, if he loses the Intercontinental Championship, I think it makes more sense. I don't want to see the Intercontinental Championship disappear. Because if you do send them to Mexico, you kind of by default are having to remove the IC title away from the ecosystem of Monday Night Raw. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case because we have Rusev calling a shot. We have rumors of Ilya Dragunov returning to the WWE. I'm assuming Dom is just going to be doing double duty. In a
Double
similar
doming.
vein, yeah, double doming in a similar way that Trick Williams is, right? Trick Williams is on every episode of Impact, every episode of NXT, every
Yeah.
NXT PLE, every TNA
Mhm.
PLE. That to me has done wonders for Trick Williams. His stock to me is the highest that it's ever been because he just keeps getting better and better and better and thriving within the limelight. And I'm assuming that they've realized that formula has worked. Trick
Yes.
Williams is a star. Maybe that's the formula that they plan on having with Dominik Mysterio. And it's just going to be, sorry, Dom, you're working Friday night AAA tapings. You're working Monday Night Raw. You're working WWE PLEs and all worlds collide, all Triple Manias, whatever it might be. It might just be Dom doing way more work to work for both brands because I don't want to lose him on weekly TV. And I don't
Mm.
want AAA to lose their champion.
He's used to working it. Remember when he was the NXT North American champion? He was on all 3 shows.
Yeah. I think there was a week where he was literally on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and then had the NXT
PLE,
PLE
right?
that weekend.
Yep. He could do it, and he's young enough to do it. And I'm just hoping that for me, like you mentioned, Trick Williams, his brand grew. I'm hoping that Dom's brand grows because you know why? He's an integral part of their Latin American representation and Lucha Libre for the WWE because he's a big villain. He's like Thanos right now, right? And he's revered and loved. But you have Rey Mysterio, you have Penta, you have Rey Phoenix, you have Dragon Lee. Like these are the and Dragon Grande Americano. These are the characters that are going to be part of the Domverse for a long time. And now that you lose Andrade, who could have easily been turned heel and become like another villain in that world, I think you could you need this Dom to stay on top of the world for a good chunk. Dare I say, have a Roman Reigns type of run with that Mega Championship? Would that kill the AAA space
I'm
to
sorry,
have
did
Dom
you
hold
just say?
for like a year
Oh,
plus? Absolutely.
I completely misheard you. I thought you said Roman Reigns when you said, oh,
I did said I
wait,
did
you think
one to
Roman
3
Reigns?
years. 1 to
Oh
3
my
years.
God. Okay, sorry. I misunderstood you. I thought you said Roman Reigns becoming AAA champion. I'm like, how the
Oh,
fuck does that work? El Romano Reigns? No, that will not work. Sure, why not? Like when I look at
ooh,
the
call him El Jefe instead of the Tribal Chief. Oh,
I like it because I don't Vikingo's not gonna be the guy. He shouldn't be the guy.
he's never going to be the guy no more. He's done.
Dude, actually
Done.
that's a really fascinating conversation to have when I look at AAA names, homegrown
Yes.
AAA names. Who the hell can be built up to dethrone a WWE main roster guy?
Wagner Jr. maybe.
Dude, he's great. He's great.
Yeah.
Perhaps, but
Maybe Mr. Iguana. Maybe the
no way.
underdog.
No way. Like maybe a La Parca, that'd be kind of cool.
La Parca.
Like in
Probably.
terms of his popularity that he has in Mexico, La Parca can be that guy, but
It's
Dr.
not
Wagner,
Octagon Jr.
no way, no way. Octagon
No
Jr.
way.
ain't even getting pops in AAA.
I know.
I think the most ready-made person would be Dr. Wagner, especially like with who they're already putting him in the ring with. He beat a main roster guy already. He beat Ethan Page. Actually, Dragon Lee. He already defended against 2 main roster guys.
JD McDonough. Yeah. JD
So maybe that's who they're building up. But if you told me that it's 3 years from now, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that seems like a fair timeline. So maybe, yeah, Dom does go on a crazy run until somebody like a Dr. Wagner Jr. is believable to dethrone one of the mainstays of the main roster. Because yes, okay, he beat 2 people from the main roster, a guy that's a tag team champion that barely gets featured, and Dragon Lee, who just is fodder for everybody.
Oh, Santi. Sometimes the universe says the answer is right in front of your nose. And if this person was a little snake, he would have bit you. It's Rey Mysterio that's going to usurp his own son. It's going to be Rey. And he's going to become a mega champion himself because he never was. Because he was always regulated to weight class.
Yeah. Now
It's going to be Rey.
that it doesn't fix our problem. Right?
No,
That's just
no, there's
another
no
main
home run.
roster guy, right? The only one that's called a shot at the start of Worlds Collide was Penta, another main roster guy. So
That's a good
still
point.
brings us to the same problem that we have of like, are we just literally going to ping pong the mega championship to other Latinos on the main roster and then they become the face of AAA for a while? This could have been a good place for an Andrade, but
would have been a great place for Andrade. But he apparently didn't want to work with AAA. My question for you is this the same issue with Trick Williams when it comes to Trick Williams and TNA? No, right? It's completely right.
No,
There's
there are a handful of believable guys to beat Trick Williams. Hell, they had somebody who I didn't even think was a believable winner dethrone JC Jane for the Women's Knockouts Championship. But yeah, that is absolutely absolutely not a problem in TNA. I could list you like 5 guys that I could be like, yeah, that guy could beat Trick Williams, and it would make sense and it's believable. I can't name you outside of like La Parca and Dr. Wagner Jr. right now in AAA.
Oh, but think of the cool matches you could have with Dom, Psycho Clown, Pagano. Sure. Those are like cool names. What was the Mecha Wolf? Like
Mecha Wolf, cool. El Macias would be cool. Like there's matches.
Oh yeah.
But like, are there people that like you're like, yeah, that's the guy it's got to beat Dominik Mysterio?
I wonder if they created this Grande Americano type of side character for the Domverse simply because they need Grande to help them in AAA while Judgment Day is working the main roster. Like, you cannot expect Dom to have Finn, JD, Raquel, and Roxy with him at all times down in Mexico. So why not establish a Mexican person? Because he is Mexican. He said so himself on Monday Night Raw. He said,
"So Mexicano way."
And Byron Saxon just sitting there like, okay.
I love that he told Byron Saxon, I don't speak English. And then Byron Saxon's like, okay, let me continue to talk in English and ask you this question.
Well, but I think like the reason why they put him with the Americanos is to have a surrogate's Judgment Day group to help him be the Stooges, so he could continue to have that bloodline rules type of moment, that any moment that Dom's going to lose. Because Santi, I'm sorry, he's never going to be booed ever in Mexico as the mega champion. So they're going to have to do some screw jobs as much as possible to get him to be a heel, to get him to be wanting to be beaten by an uber babyface. And it's going to require a lot of dirty Dom finishes, a lot of Americano interferences. But dare I say, dude, that Mexican crowd's going to still love him for all the hate that he gets, all the interferences and DQs that's going to happen.
Because they're used to shenanigans. Like shenanigans are shenanigans are always afoot in AAA. Shenanigans that make us groan in North America have sort of just become like cultural expectations in lucha libre. So it's not something that is automatic. Like, dude, like it's not automatic like Heat Magnet to have shenanigans. Dude, they literally have a ref who is always doing shenanigans, right? The super slow count. So yeah, man, I think they're going to have a tough time getting people to boo El Grande Americano and Dominik Mysterio as well. In terms
now,
of,
you want to talk about Sami Zayn?
I thought we already did, but yeah, sure, we can talk more about Sami Zayn.
Who does he lose to? Does he take this belt all the way to Saudi Arabia? Mania?
Ooh, no, because I think he's going to win the Rumble.
And then go after a bigger belt.
A bigger belt. Like, here's what I could see, with Sami Zayn, I could see him winning this Rumble in Saudi Arabia, get the big moment in Saudi, going to WrestleMania 42, losing, and then working his way back to another World Championship match a year later in Saudi. Not by winning the Rumble again, something else, just so that he can have the 2 big moments in Saudi, winning the Rumble and winning his World Championship in Saudi WrestleMania.
It is fascinating that Sami Zayn numbers are at a high on socials.
What do you mean at a high? Like
my Sami Zayn Sikoa match, millions of views.
That's such a random outlier, though. I think it's a random outlier.
Is it though? And you can't disagree that the Rey Fenix match was a banger.
Oh, it was amazing.
The John Cena match, a banger.
Amazing.
As well. Amazing. And he's not going to stop producing bangers. But there's still going to be this notion that he is the guy they're pushing forward. Think of like a Roman Reigns in the 2017s. They're shoving 2015, sorry. They're shoving him forward. People are going to resent him. It is what it is, man.
People didn't resent Cena during his open challenge
until he beat Nexus, and then we were wondering back in the day. Back in that day.
Yeah, no, the Nexus thing, you've got your timelines off. That's like 2010. Open
Well, that's
Challenge
what I
is like
mean.
5 years
I
later.
resented Cena back then.
Okay, yeah, but I'm
I
talking
did.
about the Open Challenge. That's what I'm talking about. The Cena Open Challenge. If it was a regular, yeah, hey, Cena's just going out there every single week beating everybody, uh, then yeah, I think resentment would have gone even further. But it was John Cena defending the title in matches that he should be winning, and I think that they've created a formula to actually give Sami Zayn matches that people agree he should be winning. Because what was the problem with Sami Zayn before this? Is that he was winning matches and feuds that he shouldn't be winning and standing tall at the end of feuds that he shouldn't be standing tall in. Now they've put him in an environment where he should be standing tall, where he should be winning every single week. And now there shouldn't be, at least, anyone saying, oh, why is Sami winning this? Brother, he's the champion. He should be winning this up until we can build him to the point where when he loses the championship, it's a big moment. I think that this is the correct environment if you want to see if WWE wants to have Sami Zayn go on a win streak without building resentment. It's this, because here it actually makes sense for him to go on a win streak and win.
He's gonna start beating favorites, man.
So
you don't think beating Ray Phoenix didn't go like he kicked out a lot of stuff?
Of course, but
him kicking out of all those Cena finishers,
fair enough. But you're giving me examples of things that happened in the match. You have yet to go about him winning, which is what we were doing before this Open Challenge.
He would have beat John. I think he would have beat John Cena, dude. If Brock Lesnar did not come out, I think he was beating John, because another haluva kick away, John Cena loses.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most protective finisher in the business.
I think that this is a good place to put Sami Zayn if WWE wants to build him as this winner, this guy that wins, so that they can build him to the Rumble.
A haluva kick with a metal chair on John Cena to win.
Dude, he would have done a loaded haluva kick, put the metal plate like El Grande Americano does.
He would have put it into a bag like the Young Bucks and put spikes on the bottom of the shoe.
The explosive shoes that they had. He would have had an explosive shoe haluva kick.
He would have put kryptonite in the shoe and kicked John Cena in the face. And then he would have revealed it's kryptonite. And that makes sense. Oh my God. I don't know where this road ends. I think it ends with Dragunov.
I think Dragunov is going to Raw to deal with Rusev and whatnot. I don't know how this ends. I feel like the best person to have ended this, they're already using in Carmelo Hayes, because I really think that they could have done separate storylines that eventually coalesced of Sami Zayn winning, and Carmelo Hayes wanting to get this chance, but the Miz holding him back until eventually he's like, fuck you, Miz, I'm going to go for this. And in his first attempt, he beats Sami Zayn, proving the Miz wrong, building something big out of Carmelo Hayes, making a new star. Wishful thinking, probably. Yeah, I would admit.
Yeah.
But I like that there were that you could have created two separate storylines of two guys that are in completely different points in their career, that you could have coalesced them and created something new with Carmelo Hayes. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Is this a safe place?
Go ahead.
What if it was this guy?
That'd be fucking insane.
Work all.
That legitimately, yeah.
All along.
That would be fucking insane. If mine was wishful thinking, yours is a complete fabrication and fantasy. But I'm down. I'm down to live in a fake world where that happens.
Karrion Kross answers the Open Challenge. Fall and pray.
That would be fucking awesome.
It'd be an easy way to bring him back in if they finally came to a number of agreements. But I don't think you slow down the Sami Zayn, because if WWE is the GPS and we're on this train, our destination is Saudi Arabia Mania for Sami Zayn. And Karrion Kross is, unfortunately, I think Karrion threw a big wrench in that plan, and they're like, bye, Karrion.
Yeah. It was like, dude, it was like somebody at WWE peed the bed and they just didn't tell their parents. They just like grabbed the sheets and threw them in the fucking garbage, hoping that nobody would notice. That's what they did with Karrion Kross. Like, no. All right, throw this out. It's fine. Just get new sheets. Sami Zayn, give him the U.S. title, move forward.
Oh, so I have children, so I know that experience, but you don't. So your experience is only you peeing the bed and then throwing the sheets away.
I have an
and then
experience I want to share because this happened so
Okay.
long ago.
I'm here.
I was at a cottage with my then girlfriend. All right. I woke up and there is like 4 pieces of my underwear beside me that are soaked. I'm like, what the fuck? Bizarre. And I grabbed them and they smell like piss, bro. Like raging piss. Like, what the hell happened here? What did I do last night? Turns out her little cousin, 13 years old at the time, way too old for this, 13 years old, pissed the bed and in a panic was going around looking for things to dampen with. And he went into my suitcase and grabbed a bundle of clothing, which was a bunch of my boxers, to clean his piss-ridden bed, and tried to frame me by putting my piss-ridden boxers on the floor beside me. I have a little bit of experience with that. I didn't piss my pants 5 separate times.
It's the most extreme version that you could think of.
Dude, I'm still so mad that happened because we were traveling at a cottage. I didn't have a washing machine. Now I had to deal with these 5 piss-soaked pieces of underwear, and I had to now deal with them.
Wow.
Asshole.
Did I trigger you, brother?
Ryan, if you watch this, I fucking hate you. I still have not forgiven you for that.
How old is he now? He would be like, what, 20?
No, he's much older than that. I think he's probably like 25 now.
He has his own kid now.
Probably. I hope he does that to you. I have no idea what we're talking about.
Gonna be Ryan rules.
Dude, it's gonna be piss line rules, man. That's what he did.
First to pee in the bed match.
All right, so in the show notes you wrote Julia is fooling you. I don't know where I'm.
No,
what is
you
that?
read it wrong. Julia fooling you.
You actually go check. You literally wrote Julia is fooling you.
No, Julia's fooling you. You gotta.
Oh well, no. Then it should have been apostrophe s. You wrote Julia is fooling you. Julia's fooling you.
It's pretty clever, right? You like it?
I liked it, but you're throwing me under the bus with how you wrote it. I'm saying it how you wrote it.
Pretty good though. I like the topic. What is this topic you stumbled upon?
Yeah, what is Julia's fooling you?
The belt is the mirage. It is a mirage. It is a placebo. It is a binky. It is a pacifier for the fans that wanted the women to have a mid-card title, and they finally got one, the United States title. We started off so hot with Chelsea Green. It went to Zelina Vega, and now it's here with Julia, and it is non-existent. It doesn't exist. It is a figment of your imagination, and it's not treated with the prestige that a championship should hold. So it is fooling you. You, the WWE audience, believe that a United States champion in Julia, this great champion that was coming in from across the sea, has come over to add prestige and legacy to United States mid-card title, but it's fooling you, brother. It is on top of Julia. It's on Julia right now as a facade, as a way to believe that they care about the division, when in all actuality, no ring time, random story beats, only lasts a minute or two. Nothing is happening with the United States women's title. And because it's on Julia, you're hoping something would happen and you're waiting for the banger weekly matches from Julia. But in the end, Santi, it's fooling you.
Fool's gold. Fool's gold. Yes. Coming back to what we were talking about a few months ago. I agree with you. And maybe it's I'm trying to look at the glass half full type of situation. Maybe there
is no glass, Santi. There is no glass.
That's fair. Okay. There is no glass. My logic was, okay, they didn't show us Julia for months, and then now she's on a little bit of a streak of actually appearing on TV, but it might just be a, hey, shut up type of thing. Stop talking about it. Here's Julia, but it is only for like 3 minutes. It is for very unsubstantial segments, just things that don't really build and amount to a heck of a whole lot. So it might just be the way to keep us quiet. And hey, we are giving you Julia. She is a fighting champion when it's like 2-minute segments. Passing it over to you, Sancho. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Santi is now leaving because he drinks so much water. And dare I say, I have questions about this whole thing about blaming a 13-year-old. Fact one, it is a 13-year-old. I don't think a 13-year-old would go ahead.
Wait. Hang on. I have one earpiece in. Ain't no way that you are about to blame Ryan's bullshit behavior of trying to frame me for the piss boxers. Nah.
Considering that there is so much facts here, that Santi goes to the bathroom so much, I'd hope he's not suffering from diabetes or pre-diabetes and things of that sort, because we do not make fun of people for those things because they're real things. But my God, we set aside time. We pee before we come here. And now Santi's going to the bathroom again. Your Honor, it's a clear cut case, Your Honor, as he's peeing right now to the toilet bowl. He's listening to me. Your Honor, dare I present that maybe it's because Santi doesn't quite remember his ventures out there in the college, probably having a drink or two with his lady. And all of a sudden, he's the one that urinated on his own clothing. He's the one that probably urinated on his own bag of clothes and suitcase filled of creating that damp wetness of urination. I do declare, Your Honor, that the evidence is clear that a 13-year-old would not dare to do that unless there's some sort of confession from Ryan. And I do declare that that has not happened.
I drink an entire 2-gallon jug every single episode. I'm a fit and healthy person, and a fit and healthy person that has a regular digestive tract. I'm sorry that I pee, but I pee in the toilet. I don't pee in my bed and then soak it with other people's boxers that they have there for the week to survive in the cottage.
Was there a confession?
Yes, there was a confession, but I still never forgave him.
Was it a confession that was egged out of him? You were like, bro, just tell me the truth. Yeah, exactly.
It turned into Guantanamo Bay. God damn it, Ryan, admit it. He had a history of pissing the bed, all right? Your Honor, I do declare there was precedent, clear as day, that Ryan did indeed piss the bed. He was a serial piss wetter.
Yeah.
And therefore, we cannot blame my client, who has no history at all whatsoever of this, Your Honor. My client has a clean record, Your Honor.
I'm hoping people get this far into the pod. Maybe there are thoughts of Saudi Arabia. Yeah, go through that, right? Go through that to get to here, okay? Get to this part, because this is what we want to be remembered for the most.
We were talking about Julia fooling you.
Yeah,
I think we hit that. We're almost done here. I guess we can talk about Seth Rollins, Becky, CM Punk, and AJ Lee. Any final go-home thoughts there? We did do our WrestlePalooza prediction, so we already talked at length over there. But any additional thoughts?
It was a great segment, and I think it's because you said this the most. The best segments are when all talent are in the ring. John Cena, last time in Springfield, wasn't really a great promo. I mean, it was just glazing your city. He did a better promo in Chicago than he did for Massachusetts, or Springfield. I feel like he couldn't get to where he emotionally needed to be. But here with Seth Rollins and CM Punk and AJ Lee and Becky, they took a while. I think it was too drawn out of a segment. It could have been done 10 minutes less. But when it got to the real fireworks with by far the best manhandle slam I've seen on television, good Lord. The sell from AJ Lee where she gets ragdolled in the air, making Becky Lynch look like $1 million, make her look like a Brock Lesnar type of strength, and just flatten like a pancake and her sprawled out. I was like, good Lord, AJ Lee, your back and neck, please don't get hurt. That was really cool. And for me, it makes me wish that this was not a mixed tag. I wish this was AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch, right? You could have just done it that way. But ESPN WrestlePalooza, you got to add a little bit more to it, and they added the men to it. And I think the men are going to be second fiddle in this entire WrestlePalooza. And I just if the match started and Seth and CM Punk, and then they ended up in the back where they took a bump where both of them got out, taken out, and escorted out, stretchered out, don't care. and it was just AJ Lee and Becky, that'd be sick because that's what I want to see.
Yeah, it is gonna get there. It is going to get there. I think this
Let
is
they get flattened out. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's not forget she's been gone for 10 years. I think a tag team environment is a good idea, to get her feet wet. I'm not shocked at how good the sell for that manhandle slam was, because one of the things that AJ Lee was known for was, you said it, the exact words out of my mouth, the ragdoll physics, like bending inside out, upside down to sell people's finishers. She made Caitlyn Spear look like 5 times better than Braun Breakers. Like that.
The Book of Match Club.
Yeah. Yes, the Book of Match Club. Yeah, no, I'm pumped for this, but I do think that the end goal is where you wanted to go anyway. It is gonna go towards Becky and AJ Lee, but I think this is a safe environment to reintroduce AJ Lee back into the fold. I'm okay with this. Holy, didn't even realize the timestamps. Usually we do shorter episodes for PLEs because we do like the predictions as well. So you guys are lucky this week. Full 2+ hour show plus a predictions podcast. Let's bring it home here, brother. Let's do new heat order.
My sweet little pumpkin. My little pumpkin. Santi. The pumpkin is a pumpkin. Listen, the best pumpkin. And I know pumpkins. New heat order. For those of you who know, new heat order is the buzz, the excitement, the things that we want to tune in to wrestling. And some of you have already jumped ship and no longer watching the product, but you should still watch Wrestling is Cool because the brain rot here is fresh. So at number 1, I'm going to put Sancho. What's this game? Number 1. I think number 1 is Dominik Mysterio in my mind. If you want to put someone else instead of Dom, I'm all. Even though the WWE did not celebrate Dominik Mysterio like he deserved, there wasn't no pomp and circumstance. How dare the WWE as well not had Io and Stephanie Riccara in the ring for the contract signing? You could have easily done that. Instead, you did it backstage. I digress. I personally think it's Dominik Mysterio. What say you?
Sure.
A lot of resentment, a lot of hesitation. Dom hater number 5.
Well, my hesitation was actually what you said, the lack of celebration for it. That kind of concerns me. That kind of concerns me.
It is concerning, but that isn't not on me. I'm still a Dom lover, all right? Dom lover.
That does make you question, why not celebrate it? Like, if you're going to give the title to somebody on the main, like they literally cut his interview with Byron Saxton.
With a New Day Penta.
Yeah. I didn't really think of that until you brought it up. Like, it does feel like they're just like, Eddie's champion, but you don't really care because you only watch main roster, right? Okay, move on.
And they put it on. They put it on Friday night after SmackDown and late night. Like
they're hiding it.
They were ashamed.
They're hiding it. It was a late night booty call, man. That's what it was. You up, Triple H fans? You up? Sent that you up text.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasó?
Okay, I'm down for Dom.
All right, because this is the Wrestling is Cool new heat order. Okay.
I'm down in the next sequence of people to do the combination of people in the mixed tag match. Because I know we had Brock Lesnar, but that segment was terrible with R-Truth. Oh, Cody Rhodes returning. We probably... What do you want to talk about? I probably should put Cody Rhodes.
I'm going to put Cody at 3 because I'm still excited for CM Punk Seth. I'm going to put them all in the same byline.
Oh, you're going to put all 4 of them in. Okay. We're going to be stretching this to people that might not even deserve to be on here, though, if we're taking 4 spots to 1.
There's a lot of people deserving. Right. Let's see. And then put Cody Rhodes. I'll see you at WrestlePalooza. Did you see what I did for SmackDown review?
No.
You should go to it on Cody's thing.
Okay, I will.
I put the Guile theme on when he came out.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. God, it's such a good theme. Such a good theme.
Any love for Drew McIntyre here?
Yeah, there's love for Drew. He beat Randy Orton. He's got his match. He
still didn't like the referee getting involved, but whatever.
Yeah. Let's do Drew McIntyre.
Where's Jacob Fatu? Is he on vacation?
I mean, apparently he's in the dark matches after SmackDown goes off the air. That's what people told me.
I saw that. Did you see the vignette of Solo Sikoa? That was cool.
It was
But you're
cool. I didn't like that it's still referencing Sami Zayn. I don't want to see that again.
you don't want to see that again. Sami Zayn here at 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Any love for the Usos? We didn't talk about Usos. We didn't talk about Jimmy and Jay. How they're gonna have. We talked about it a little bit in our predictions video, but I feel that the WWE once again has ruined a potential positive like mega reunion. You know, like I feel that we've done this before. Like, oh, the Shield's reuniting, and then it's like, you know, like it's a weird way to reunite the Usos and then not make them on the same page right away. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like we've got the Usos. It feels like we've got Jimmy and Jay working together, which I know is physically the same thing, but it doesn't feel like the Usos are back.
It's main Jade Monday Night Raw
Munch.
and Big Jimmy working together.
Yeah.
They're like single stars,
I
not
agree.
the Usos.
I agree.
Anyway, I don't have any love for Jimmy and Jay because the monotonous or repetitiveness of Monday Night Raw dampens anything that the Vision and Monday Night Raw and Monday Night Jay and LA Knight and Jimmy. Like I'm just like,
yeah, I know you aren't a fan of what's going on, but we talked about it a lot. Bailey potentially should be on this list.
I'll make this clear. I am a fan of Bailey. I don't have confidence in WWE, but I'm excited to see where if they have the huevos to go there.
I think you made that very clear. I don't think that anyone you came out looking like you didn't like what Bailey is attempting to do.
I could remember it's a very bold, it's a brave choice to make to venture down that path. Number 7, 8, 9, and 10 are up for grabs. Any love for New Day being down in AAA? I love that moment. Pagano, Psycho Clown rips off the mask. Xavier goes, he runs away.
Dude, Conan was on another level of awful in the commentary of that match. It was so bad.
He was.
The ice comment was crazy. It was just like, what are you doing,
I like how Corey Grace goes, he goes, you can say that, I can't.
You know what? New Day's cooking. They're doing a great job. Solid appearance on Monday Night Raw. Took out Penta. Oh, Ray Phoenix, dude. Great match with Sami Zayn. The buzz right now is him maybe going to help Penta.
Okay, how about this? New Day at 7. Ray at 8.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Phoenix. Not deadbeat.
Hey, can you maybe go by Phoenix instead of Ray?
What about, Tiffany and Jade had a pretty solid match.
Oh, yeah. We didn't get to talk about Tiffany's injury. She's out. She's out for NXT Homecoming, dude.
Yeah, NXT Homecoming. We'll see if she's out for Friday. I think we'll know. It is, shortly after what happened on her match in SmackDown. They might just be selling the barricade spot.
I don't know, man.
Hopefully she's not actually injured.
That looked like a concussion to me, brother.
When she did like the flip back and landed back.
Yeah, and she whiplashed into her head on the outside.
Yeah. That spot's not worth it, man.
No. I'm surprised they went through with the barricade spot right after that. I mean, that's where I think a veteran would kind of slow down a little bit.
There was no veteran in there. That's somebody.
9, 10. Any love for Lyra being part of that Bailey thing?
I think Lyra's overacting in that. I pointed that out in the Raw review.
And like I mentioned, dude, it's a very tough line to dance.
Yeah. I was critical of Lyra's like selling of like the shock of Bailey and everything. It was too cartoony, which might go down the path of what you're saying. You don't want it to be cartoony. Very Looney Tune-ish how Lyra Valkyria has been reacting to the Bailey stuff. So solid match with Roxanne Perez, though, like really, really solid match. We could talk about Stephanie, having a match, interacting with Rhea Ripley, the Io Sky signing. There's a lot of like major names in that women's like kerfuffle that's going on Monday Night Raw. But
all right, I'll put Stephanie back at it because it's good to see her. Welcome back.
I agree.
Number 10. LA Knight. I mean, it was too telegraphed what LA Knight was going to do.
We could put Grande Americano it's official that he's got the Americanos. They did the Spider-Man pointing thing. He was there in the main event.
Rusev or Grande Americano?
Rusev had 5 seconds on screen. Grande Americano was the deciding factor of the main event of Worlds Collide. Solid match with Dragon Lee. Started a new faction. I'm willing to lay it down here for El Grande.
There you have it, folks. Number 10, Grande Americano. Number 9, Stephanie Vercurd. Number 8, Ray Phoenix. Number 7, New Day. And always you have to thank God. Number 6, Bailey. Number 5, Sami Zayn. Number 4, Drew McIntyre. Number 3, Cody Rhodes. Number 2, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, AJ Lee, and Becky. Number 1, Dominik Mysterio.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think that's a pretty solid list. We did kind of have to find some new names since we took up one spot for 4 people, but I think it came out pretty good.
It's the other way around.
We took up one spot for 4 people?
Yeah, it's that way.
That's what I said.
Are you sure?
Pretty confident, yeah.
Check the VOD.
Nah, I'm good. This is 2 hours in. I'm not checking this. All right, folks. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. Of course, this project here, Wrestling is Cool, is available on Patreon earlier than everywhere else on the planet, and it is funded exclusively by those over on Patreon. An extra special bonus shout out goes out to our patrons at the $15 tier. They are the producers of the show. So a huge shout out goes out to the following people. Thank you to First Patron I Crazy Dude says hi, the B Meister, D Lopez, Big Mike, Hassan Aziz, Fesh Real, Super Malachi Galaxy, Asperlitz, Nicholas Kyle, Alex, Squishy, Crunchy Tomato, FMFCMA, Lord Jelly Roll, The Final Boss, Bloodline Rules, Reese Dowd, Jackson, Sullivan Mayer, Vegan Penguin, GXA Man, Cool Whip Tim, Bing Bong Wepa, Zergzito, Pat McMark, Two Slapped Cupid, Two Crown, Monte Moore. What is going on here? Hang on, this is not in order. What the? Stand by. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start this again. Wait, what? Did Patreon change how this works? It used to be in like alphabetical order. But no, it's not. I guess I have active $15 tier. Okay, I guess this is what it is. I'm just going to read them out of order. Zergzito, Pat McMark, Two Slapped Cupid, finally, Adam Trillionaire, a.k.a. El Rey, Saudi Rick Boogs, Carrion Cross, Ask Me ESPN Plus, or Dinner with Jay-Z, Lil Shifu, Nighthawk, Ozzy Kingslayer, Liam, CB, Tom Lehman, Alfie the Chosen One, Robert Rogers, Adrian Bestie, Caleb Martin, I, Santi Zap, am a real cult leader, Game Escape, ISATS, the Chargers officially own the AFC West. Yes, sir. Juliana Sarfi, Josby, Luis Jimenez, I'm Braun Strowman, Jordan Lynch, Prince Vegeta, Joe Velez, I'm Rick James Bitch, Cameron Waring, Slowtoke Rodriguez, Gilbert Deans, the Wepa Warrior Bing Bong, Tobias Burnett, Garrett Woods, Kuwaiti Rick Boogs, Ricky Dutcher, Anto Neem, Jacob Fat 2, Puppet Spanker Johnson. Sancho, I do not like that this is not in alphabetical order. The OCD in me is screaming right now. Be Hostile, Alex Regal, It's Mista, Slime Manny, El Joshi. I'll put Sancho on the thumbnail. Mark, LA Knights Nightlight, Garrett Coons, Freezer, Sean, Toasty, Venom. Don't forget the hyphen between Bing Bong plus Wepa. Rashad Walton, White Mexican, Five Knuckle RKO, Muhammad Albanai, Shane, Matthew Watkins. Issa says, I'm Santi without the Colombian. Doug Dimmadome. So you're Canadian. Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Trent Head, Savage Field, Chris Putner Lucas, Joey Romig, Santi's Dryer Music. Santi lives in Canada. Riley, Hoodie Cam, Noah, Justin Perkins, Reaper God, Authentic Chocolate, Brady Keaton, Aiden S, Jack, Jacob Saffel, Obi Nobi, Verzo, Sancho as Hijo del Santi Jr., Javier Rodriguez, Antonio Arjona, Jacob Pena, Jelly Goose, Lesnar Roll, Justin Brooks, Fletcher Walpole, Hey Shakes, Hey Sancho, I see you at WrestlePalooza, bitch, Zach Griffin, Matthew Dollar, Sir Nightmare, Salguero, Samba, Marnie YCSM, Josh Groke, Hartfeld, Jeremiah Kelly, Bailey Saunders, Aaron Thorne, Sancho doesn't get a safe space, Pat R, Juan Pablo III, Governor, Mackay, Chimchar Collectibles, Majed, Ruben Sanchez, Oil, Cameron Talks WWE, Ashley Rennell, Royce Ruffo, Jack Gibley. If Sancho gets on the thumbnail, we riot. Brody Cyphers, Ben, Michael Purnell, the Vanilla Joe Rilla, Javion McDuffie, Shaggy WWE, Joshua Hoy, Sip God, Jake Shavoya, Jahihi Ahihi, Zay2K, Santi needs to oil up, Mitchell X, Josh Segrue? I don't know. Butchered your name, brother. Sorry. It's not going to work for me. Bluefish, Shitstain Nakamura. Hey, Mom. You're the best. Kenny. Miguel Paredes, Christian, Zach Smira, Matthew Oberg, Jelly Roll, Proceed with Caution, Dalton Dunbar, Michael Trevino, JC Worley, Gabriel Mesa. This doesn't flow as well when it's not in alphabetical order. Tyler Logan, Jacob Mueller, Sam Dukes, Jack Harris, Caleb Parker, Derek Barnhart, Trevor Harder, William Newton, Meredith Lee, Jeremiah Finley, American Nightmare, Cody Lander, Oil Up Now, Santi 69, the LA Knight Mega Glazer, Jacob Kufis, Rick Marr 1R, Fishing with Papa J, Michael Paz, Look, It's Pac-Man, Wepa, Nina Oray, Corey King, Clay, Oliver Hammond, Sancho should talk AEW, Michael Vera, NyQuil Pad, Chris, I'll put Sancho in my thumbnail, Beans, Colby Mayo, Taman Bryant, El Hijo del Dr. Jelly Roll Jr., Johnny Moore, Ethan Domingue, Mossy, Digi316, it's Astro Kid, Kevin Bega, Ayo Carr, Noah Booth, Eric Ruiz Romero, Ian McNugget, Sauce God, Ariel Pacheco, Bobby, Tom Sarati, Giovanni Gonzalez, Cookies for Sale, Nathan Tully, Yo Girls Side, Jason Vane, Jackson Parrish, Austin Hogland, Tycho, Zeke Love, El Juan de Americano, Johnny Owen, Sancho's #1 fan, Heath Robertson, Fugnux, Kaon P, Oscar Ruiz, Blue Cord, Mohammed, Chucky Gonzalez, Albreem Zuda, Zay Henry, Santi Custom Games, Imposter Sancho, J.E., Voidsy, Ryan Spradley, Leonardo, Horson, Blenda, Braden Primo, 2 podcasters, 1 cup, Run It, Stevie G, The Visionary, Egg Toast, Sam Brown, Diego Villeda, Christian Anderson, Sadie Brink, Santi's Tribal Chief, Gibby Fresh, Alex Waddle, Mayhem Matthew, Jared J, Alfie Wally, Lachlan, Muhammad H. Ahmed, Hornswoggle needs to oil up, Jared Hernandez, Santi oil up for Cena retirement match, Giovanni Cervantes, Unknown Zero, create an NXT hot takes video, you coward, Bradley, Dylan, Dan Schuberth, Tim Higgins, Arctic Wolf, Austin. Nope, sorry, Austin is not a $15 tier. Austin, I take it back. I don't love you. You don't count. The last one was Arctic Wolf. But you could be a $15 tier, Austin. You could be. Folks, thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. It's been a pleasure being here for the past 2 hours with you. You guys take care. Be wonderful people. Take care. Bye.